Of course, it would be muted there. Good morning to you guys. How we doing out there? Let's get right into the show. We'll take a look at to see what's going on in the market. We'll take a look at the playbook. We'll see what is happening right now. Of course, we did get some jobs numbers to come in here. So we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look to see what's going on right now as the market did get the jobs data, and the jobs data did come in as expected, right? Which was to show that the jobs market was definitely kind of weakening up. Market reacting a little bit higher off of that, but we're starting to teeter a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that action. We'll take a look at that right now. Let's just go right into the SPY. We'll give you guys those numbers. We'll take a look at what's going on with the action. Let's keep it going here. All right, let's take a look here. You guys should see my charts, the SPY, as you guys can see that trickle back down. And of course, a little bit of some back and forth, but let's talk about what are the numbers that actually came in here. And it was all about jobs data, right? The first one was the ADP number. That came in at 815. ADP came in here, and it was expected to show 73,000 jobs, but it got 54,000. So really light there, coming from 100, above 100,000, right? So just showing us there that the labor market, at least the private side, is weakening. Then we got, of course, initial jobless claims at 237,000 versus a 230,000 estimate, and that shows a further weakening. So you got the private and the public showing that weakening sector. So all things to be looked at right there. That just shows me more and more that, hey, we might need to look to see what happens in the market today. It could be up and down action today. And I think overall, this is just pointing towards what a lot of people are pointing to, a little bit of a tough road ahead, even though we've had a great time in the market lately. All right, we'll see what happens out there, guys. We'll get to some trade ideas and things like that. Don't have everything perfect today. It's been a little bit of a hectic day for me, but hey, just got to keep rolling with the punches sometimes. Let's go take a look around. I will let you guys know I'm down big in FXI. More than likely going to stop out on this name and get max loss on the swing account. This one's a little frustrating, guys, because I was up on this day, on Tuesday, when it was up to 39.28, I was up over 300. So trying to go ahead and get that funded account in the swing account. I've been within 500, I think like 15 times. So I tried to go for it here because if it would have just gone to like, let's say 1960s, right there, I could have already been selling out and getting my $500 in the funded account. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Now I got a down gap yesterday. That one wasn't that bad. This one is definitely going to hurt. Down to 38, 35, so taking a hit there. This morning, Meta going higher and really getting a lift there tells me more and more to look at big tech, because big tech is what lifted yesterday and actually held the market up. Google, of course, Apple lifting, right? So now we're taking a look at these other two that are starting to lift. Amazon starting to lift. And of course, I just talked about it, Meta. Amazon had a lot of AWS mentions, and I think that I just talked about this yesterday. Would we start to see Amazon try to push for the all-time highs? I think we're right there. And if there's any way this rally is going to keep going, this is definitely one way to do it, guys. So we'll see what happens there as Amazon does look like it's going to go higher. I'd start to look to see if Microsoft can catch a bid, right? That's the only one that's not maybe running to the upside. They're all, the rest of them, looking great. NVIDIA pulled back, of course, as of recent. Let's see if maybe NVIDIA gets a little bit of a push today. All these tech names, of course, can definitely kind of drag and carry the market. So we'll see what happens on these names to see how they perform today. One to look at, of course, Salesforce came in with their earnings and they beat expectations, but took another beating here, guys, as it looks like there's some back and forth action, and Benioff definitely going on Kramer and kind of battling and just making himself look bad. Definitely not looking good here in Salesforce. It was looking like it wanted to come out of this pattern, similar how it did here, but it just hasn't been able to get going. We'll see if today's maybe a reversal day back up to the upside, because the MACD looked great as it was approaching this 250. But of course, earnings can definitely do that for you. A little bit of some back talk on AI agents, pretty much saying that humans will be needed. And he was also battling about how Salesforce is so much better than Palantir. Well, don't tell any Palantir fan that, because that's an easy way to get them hunting at you. All right, we'll see what else is going on, guys. We'll take a look at some of the small cap names. Excited, of course. We'll be having my man Kevin on shortly. He has a watch list there that we can take a look at some of these, and it's been pretty good in the small cap space. We'll see what happens today. I haven't taken a look at too many of those this morning just because I've been so busy, but the CIGL on my radar, that's already spiking there to 4. That's a big move there. Securities and protection services, have no idea why this name is up so big, but that's a big move there. CNB, Zeta Network Group. We'll see what happens on that one to see if that one can kind of keep going. And then SYPR, small caps. We'll see what happens in there. Of course, a lot of the major talk is going to be all focused on what's going on with Trump. Looks like the Supreme Court going to be holding, of course, the next tariff battle. The interesting part, if for some reason Trump doesn't get what he wants here, which is for this to kind of happen fast, this tariff conversation could literally, this court appeals could get pushed back all the way into summer of 26. That is just ridiculous, right? Then we're going to be talking about potentially unwinding of tariffs all the way down in the summer of 26. I'll tell you one thing that this throws a wrench in. This throws a wrench in Jerome Powell's court because, of course, we all know that he's expected to do a rate cut, but what's going to happen here, right? And how does this weigh in on that impact, right? Or his decision? Does it speed up rate cuts? Does it slow it down? All things to be thought about, and we'll talk a little bit more about that during the show. But let's kick things off. We'll get to the great part of the show, the trading side of things, guys. It's 9 a.m. Michael's ready to go. I'm ready to go into the trading side. Let's kick things off. We'll talk a little bit more about some catalysts throughout the day, but definitely something to kind of take a look at. A lot of earnings stocks out there, whether it be like an Asana that you guys like, or maybe a C3 AI. We'll talk about some of those names, but let's keep things going. AMD also, AEO is one to definitely take a look at. Selling those jeans. It looks like Swidney. Hey, the jeans are definitely selling out there. So if you got your jeans and you're ready to go, well, I can tell you guys right now, that's what's moving. And you might want to get the jeans, as it looks like Sydney definitely taking things up. I saw a impression number. We're talking 4 billion impressions, guys. 4 billion impressions on this ad. Yes, Swidney has the jeans, man. The jeans. And who are these guys? Oh, those fibers guys. All right. Not looking too bad. My man Victor Trade's on there right now. All right, let's kick that off. Let's kick off the show. Let's get to the action this morning.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Bring on the man himself, Michael Noss. What's going on, man? How we doing?
Oh, we're doing good. Looks like, I don't know, we're waiting for jobs numbers or something. I woke up today, it's snooze fest out there.
Already went through, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Already went through, and it looks like it was just showing that the labor market is cooling. So looks like unemployment is ready to start showing signs of spiking. Whether that speeds up rate cuts or things like that, that's all conversations to be had. I think the interesting one was the tariffs being pushed back potentially to summer of 2026. And if that's when the Supreme Court takes a look at this, well, good Lord, we're going to be talking tariffs for the whole Trump administration, it looks like.
Do we care? Do we still care? Like,
this is the thing. There's like $1 trillion now that are just going to be like put in air. Either the U.S. has $1 trillion or they lose $1 trillion.
Like, but the market doesn't care. So, like, you know what I mean? Does it bother us? Like, just like you said with the jobs report, I didn't even know it was out because the market hasn't moved. So that's just something that the market has decided that us as a group just don't really care about anymore.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just kind of stair stepping higher. I think it just puts like it just adds towards those bear cases out there that are trying to be kind of worked up, right? It does
Wow.
add to that, of course.
I love that because those
Delinquencies
guys are
at all time
smart.
highs. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. The
So
delinquencies
that
are taking off,
delinquency
man.
chart, I saw that, and I tried to poll the audience, and no one got back what was wrong with that chart, and
No one really looked deep
no
enough.
one looked deep. It's a denominator fallacy, right? If you're not doing
Ah.
it as like a percentage of GDP, if you're not doing it as a percentage in cash on hands, you're either like trying to be nice here. You're either ignorantly fear mongering or you're intentionally fear mongering, right? It's like the people who say, "Oh,
It's
debt's
like
higher
the
than it's ever
endless
been."
bulls,
Like,
man. It's like you can always twist a number, right? You can always twist it and to add to a narrative. I think that's what it's more along. But delinquencies
yeah,
are at their highs. I mean,
depends on how
percentage
you
wise,
measure it, right? It's like saying that Nvidia is expensive. It's like, well, based off of what
it's
metric, right?
relative,
Price
right? It's
based
relative.
off of. So if I say, yeah, debt is 8 trillion% higher than it was 300 years ago, it's like, well, are you adjusting for inflation? Are you adjusting for current cash on hands? Because at that same time, you can also read that people have never had more cash than they do right now. Never in the history of mankind, there's not been as much money in humans' hands ever. So it's like, and whenever I look at those numbers, a great book for everyone to look at is How to Lie with Statistics. In fact, a absolute must read for markets and for just social media kind of literacy is this book. It's absolutely amazing because it just shows that the best example I gave there is when they say 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste. Well, how they got that number is they just put all the toothpaste there and say, "Do you recommend Crest or Oral B or whatever?" And they go, "Yeah, toothpaste is good." And they go, "Bam! Now we can say that you recommend ours because we're a toothpaste, right?" So,
That's
you know,
just how it goes there.
so yeah, it's not. I don't blame the people who do kind of the fear porn stuff. I
Yeah.
just blame. You just have to know that that's how they sell things, right? No one doesn't sell things to say everything's great. Move on with your day. It sells things to say, "Ooh, things are scary," and it seems to be working, right? Because if you look through here, um, everyone's still bearish. Like, there's no highs in sentiment. We know that they are both short and bearish, and those two things are a recipe for let's pump out as much scary rhetoric as we possibly can to try to help our bags, which are short and bearish. It was wild to see that, right? Last week, we got way, way more bearish, even though if you look at the market, it didn't do really much of anything last week. Right? If you go to last weekly's candle, this was last week's candle. So we did nothing. And if you look at the SPY, we did nothing. If you look at the IWM, it was up a bit, but we did nothing. But yet everyone's coming back out and saying, bearish, 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 right? The market's scary, run for the hills. And again, for me, that's awesome, right? This is exactly what you want to see at all-time highs. You don't want to see euphoria. You don't want to see investor surveys come in where everyone thinks that everything's going to be great for the foreseeable future. So just for those who don't know, right, this is simple AII. They ask it every week, and the simple question is, what direction do member feels stocks will be in for the next 6 months? And only 32% said we're going up, right? The vast majority is we're going nowhere to down. And that makes me think that you take that and you combine it with the fact that they're short and you combine the fact that the markets are all-time highs. If everyone is bearish, I want to be bullish. And then as soon as that kind of flips, that's usually when you take your foot off the gas just a little bit, right? The historical average is about 37% bearish and only 31 or 37% bullish, 31% bearish. And in this case, we are 32% bullish and 43% bearish. So it's one of those, Yeah, and I love that. I don't take as much stock in surveys as I do in this, but this is just a good way to say, okay, are we, is the market feeling groovy, right? Is everyone super bullish? And, are we getting a little bit of that overhype, that really, really bullish sentiment that everything will be fine all the time? And no, we're not, right? People are worried, and I love it because they say, right, what's the saying? The market climbs the wall of worry. So as they're worried, I'm going to continue to be owning stuff here, and it looks like at least a little bit here it's working because we closed the gap yesterday on the Qs. We closed the gap yesterday on the SPY. We closed the gap, but it's kind of interesting, reversed from it on the IWM. So definitely more of a large cap tech relative performance, which we saw on Google, we saw on that type of thing. So whatever caused this gap down on Tuesday, we don't care anymore because we're now above that gap down across at least the large cap indices. A little bit of room to go on the small cap ones.
Yeah, the TLT, the yields probably being the cause for that Tuesday drop, but you've seen the TLT since then, right? Right back up to the 87. So,
Well, I actually read. I'm on a chat. Let me see if I can find this. I'm on a chat with TTM Squeeze. Yeah, there we go. Let's clean this up a bit. I'm on a big chat with Larry Williams and John Boilinger. A lot of these guys, just like legends of industry, and they were talking about this right here. So this lower indicator is the TTM Squeeze. You can look it up. Essentially, just says, are the Boilinger bands inside of the Keltner channels? Which is just another boring way of saying, is the market historically very, very tight to what it normally is? And if you go to like a weekly chart here, it is as tight as it's been since ever. Since last time was kind of way back here, I guess in 2023. We've never had that. And the idea is that we know that price is not mean reverting. We know that volatility is mean reverting. So that means that when the market gets really, really tight, at some point, there's going to be an explosion of volatility, either up or down. And when the market's really, really volatile, at some point it's going to chill out and it's going to get a little bit tight. And yeah, what John Boilinger on this little chat was saying is that he has never seen a TTM reading really this strong, and that's with the yellow dot here in years. Last time we see a yellow dot, it's way back in 2020. Yeah, so this is a very rare idea. So if you follow this and you do believe that volatility is mean reverting, it means at some point in the near future, we're going to have a big explosion in bonds up or down. Don't know. You'd almost have to bet in the direction of the trends, which would be down, which would spike rates, which I don't think would be ideal. But yeah, very, very tight here in the bond market. And then, of course, right, so if bonds are tight, it means yields are also tight because they're just an inverse of one another.
we will see what happens with the TLT if it can just take off, right? Because if that takes off, well, then finally things will be looking a little bit different, right? I think that's something definitely keep an eye out. Definitely get it ran. I got run over in FXI, so we'll see what happens in China if it can bounce right back down, gapping down, and really kind of getting hit there. So we will see what happens on that one. Looking around out there, guys, trying to find some trades. Anything up your sleeve, Michael, today?
Well, AEO is going to be on watch for the gap fade. It hasn't been as clean this morning. Usually I like it when they spend most of the morning above VWAP. This one's kind of been above or below, which makes it a little bit less interesting to me. CRM, this one already triggered this morning, so I'll have to miss this, but huge push down, and then again, we're looking for the push back through VWAP. And a Figma, I'm watching a Figma. This is a new IPO that did what most IPOs do, which they rocket and then they absolutely tank when people realize that they are indeed the exit liquidity. And just watching to see if this one can kind of retake VWAP here a little bit later in the day. These are the VWAP to VWAP fades. AI, that one looks like it might already be happening here. A lot of these gaps, these aren't. Some of these are earnings, right? AI is earnings. I know AEO was earnings. ASAN, there's another one that's kind of interesting. Had earnings last night, ripped, and now is just fighting this VWAP. What else? GitLab, and a couple earnings reports. And it's funny because these guys are reporting so late. It's crazy how late these guys are looking at. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got on the go is just some of these big earnings names. CRDO, I guess another one I missed. That was an earnings pop, and now it's bleeding back through VWAP. So ideally, I would have been able to get that when that arrow has happened, but we'll not have to wait for an open on these ones. And then, yeah, we've already mentioned AO. PD is the other one, but there's not really much of a spread here on PD. Steph looking at HWM. I know this one's going to be crazy. That's what, 3-4 2-minute candles with no action? Or is that HWH, do you mean? That was one of those crazy ones. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like a Steph play right there, HWH. Yeah, it looked like a little double top. When I saw HWM, I'm like, man, that's a real company. I don't think Steph's going to be playing a real company that actually does something. So it's probably this guy. And then what the SOG P, Soggy P, as Josh says, that had an insane rip at the end of the day here and is potentially a VWAP fade here.
Yeah, I'm looking at IPDN to see if that one wants to keep going. Will it do a move 3? That's the question.
Well, they've got to at some point, these ones. I don't know. I always just look at the IPDN. I look at these guys and I say, well, when are you doing the offering? Right? Because you're doing the offering. You see something go from, $1 to $10. It's like, okay, when's it coming? Right? When's that? If it's today, maybe not. Maybe it gives you another move. If it doesn't, it's really struggling with this this top here, this $11 area. But yeah, through that, there's really nothing until 30, which is just nuts.
Yeah, it likes to whoosh through 10. So I think that's going to be the level I'll be watching to see today. Can it get to 10 and reject there? Could be maybe that area where you start to see some resistance really hold. If it gets above 10 and starts going 11, 12s, well, then that's when watch out. This one could start going. None that I want to short early. Definitely one that you'd want to maybe wait till you see at least a takedown. But definitely penny stocks just been in play. That's just what it's been.
Yeah, and for both sides, right? That's been kind of the beauty of it. Like when you
It's in yeah, that's the key. When they're in play, guys. They come in and out, right? There's
yeah,
times when there's just death in the small caps.
I think you had a long through here, and then you took off for the day, and then the thing just crashed and gave it
Yeah, and
all
just crashed
100%
all the way
back.
back
So,
down.
right, which is great, right? We don't care about what happens to any of these things. You just want to be able to get a good trade. Stock could be down 99%. You could make money the long side. Right?
Yeah.
It's just about where is your entry? Are you timing it well? That kind of thing.
And it's just important, right? Because at the end of the day, one of the things is with these names, a lot of times if you can get a big gain really quickly, there's nothing wrong with taking your money and running, right? Nothing wrong with taking that money, guys. All right, looking around out there, trying to get ready for the open here. It's 9:17. We'll see what happens, guys. AMD, I know, got a ratings change there. It was getting hit hard, so that's not going to help AMD. We'll see if that can turn around a little bit later in the day.
Oh, that's interesting. I love downgrades too, right? So one thing I've noticed as I've been doing
Downgrade
this,
right there.
yeah. So that looks like something I want to buy because those guys so wrong. One thing I've noticed that when I'm doing this VWAP fade trade is one layer I'm going to put on top of it that I think will clean things up is just that I'm going to filter as opposed to looking for anything that's gapping up or down in the day. It's going to be earnings or upgrades and downgrades. Those are the two things that I think cause the biggest people being wrong, right? Where if it gaps up because of earnings, then I think it makes more sense that it goes down a little later in the day, which is what we're looking for. Vice versa, if it gaps down, and then alternatively, if Yahoos are upgrading and downgrading it, those are often pretty good fades as well. Those guys are usually bang wrong. But I see we got someone in here, so I'm gonna give him a little.
Let's bring him in. What's going on? The green team is here.
Hey.
What's up? What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing very well. Good morning. Yesterday was actually nice. The perma longs, as Michael would say, perma bears, perma longs in small cap land. Unfortunately, buying high, hoping higher didn't work out on AIHS and IPDN. So, RIP to some of them. AIHS that faded all day long. I was going
That
over
was
this, but yeah.
wild.
Mm, yeah.
That's
So
a wild one.
yeah, if you look at the past chart history there, we saw a ceiling. I mean, the ceiling was exactly around that 820, and that's what we were waiting for. Josh caught this one on the way up, and I caught it, at the ceiling on the way down. So you can trade both sides of it. And like Steph is saying with her CIGL this morning, she was short initially, but just reverse. Trade it objectively. That's sometimes challenging for me to do because I lean, short on these trash names. But just reversing, positions, is a difficult thing. It's thinking more objectively, reacting to that versus trying to predict certain price action. But yes, sir, I'm looking for some of those names similar to that today. Got a long list of them. So I'll be monitoring and going where the volume is. Again, not predicting volume, but just reacting to it. How are you guys doing?
I just laugh about that one because I sold it at 420. I should have maybe held
Mm,
that one a little bit longer.
Mhm.
yeah, I get the 420 number though. That's certainly an area of resistance you want to sell at.
Yeah,
It's a
the thing
magic
is,
number.
I was already in a halter in IPDN,
Yeah.
and I was up big in IPDN, and then AIH started going, and then I was like, man, I don't want to be in two halts right now.
Yeah.
So let me just cash
Sorry.
one, and then I can worry about the other one. But man, it was a good day. It was definitely a good
Yeah.
day for small caps yesterday. Probably one of the best days I've had in a long time in small caps, and it was just more about pre-market setups, really easy and clean. I thought on that IPDN and also on that AIH. Had that nice liquidity move out the gates. Did you see
Yeah.
that, Kevin? Nice liquidity, just
Yes.
come sweeping for some trades, some stops. Anybody
Yeah.
that got long in the pre-market, well, they probably got washed at the open as they saw that first down action, and then their eyes just went, "Whoa,
Yeah.
it's
I
right
think
back up."
I think when Michael said exit liquidity, I mean, guys, you got to pay attention to those two words. You got to realize, like,
Mhm.
oftentimes in small caps with these trash companies, they need exit liquidity, and we are the exit liquidity. Buying these things up multiple hundreds of percent. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
important to be aware of that.
they're not
it is.
master of price action; they're masters of PR.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only a matter if you need the money, right? So you got to think about it. If you're we're traders, but if you're a long-term investor, you want them to do that, right? You
Hmm.
Yeah,
want them to go through and say, okay, we're gonna raise money here. Because if you're a junk company that was like 10 cents 3 days ago, now you're ten
Yeah.
dollars, you would just be dumb not to say, okay, well we have to raise here. We just have to. There's nothing we can do. Like if you don't, you should go to jail. Like
Yeah, and
what are you doing?
I heard you mention that on Soggy P. So, what are your thoughts there, SOGP? You think inevitable?
Yeah, well, and the cool thing, like again, I am no fundamental analyst. I'll say that right off the bat. But you can go through and pretty quickly just look at the financials of the company and just see how much cash they have. It ends up being, and you click more financials here, and just go look and see how much they have on hand. Right? They're bleeding money. They're losing money like crazy. Um, it looks like they may start to turn that
What
around.
is
But if you just go to statements, you say, okay, well they've got $80 million in cash. They're gonna need way more than that, right? If you're a
apparently they're going to be paying that out as a dividend. 'Cause
yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, how can they afford this dividend that they're attracting investors with?
yeah, and it's just yeah, it
What
becomes a
sounds like a bullish thing,
inevitability, right?
yeah, becomes a bearish thing. I mean, a dividend sounds great, but do they have the finances to afford that?
Well, and just by definition, as people who are just trading it, whenever they do the dividend, they're going to gap down, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like if the company's worth $1,000 and they're giving out $500 of it, then the price has to go down, right? And it's just otherwise, then the company is if the price doesn't go down, then the company's now worth $1,500. So
Yeah.
it's like it went up 50% overnight. So there will sometime be a major gap down. So just FYI for people who are shorting it, If you're short and when they pay out this dividend, you're going to get that money pulled out of your account because you have to pay the dividend to someone, right?
Exactly. Yeah, who's
Not
paying
on
for it?
trade the pool, you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, so
um,
Soggy P, I've been trying to stab at here daily yesterday. I made a little bit on it. I noticed it was just going sideways on low volume, so I took it off on that short. But I
yeah.
keep like stabbing a little bit at it, just throwing a few shares at it, and then once it seems to be confirming for me, I'm gonna start trying to size that one to ride that on down. But yeah, Josh said my insurance guy asked me about BTC yesterday. Always makes me nervous when people start asking. I remember the same thing. Like when you hear from family that don't trade at all, I remember that with GME. Everyone when that was taken off and it was like $300-400, everyone was like, "Is this a good time to buy?" When you start hearing from family and friends, it's like, "Ugh, okay, now's the time to press the short button."
When the gas station guy is
Yeah,
talking about buying the dip,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know it, guys. Smash the like out there, guys. We'll see what happens. That SOG P man, to me, it has fourth wave written all over it. It wants one more blow off top. That's what I'm going to be looking for, guys. So one more pop, trying to pop above 30s, not holding above 30s is what I'll look for. Definitely not a name you want to short early, but I think short late, right? So, what do you need to see? I almost would be looking for strength this morning, looking for it to get strong, make it look like the Bulls have it, and then look for the quick takedown look, right? So, liquidity move, but on the upside, not the downside. You know how I look for those longs, right? I look for liquidity and then the long to come in. We want liquidity on the top side and then the down action to follow that, right? So we'll look to see what happens there, Kevin. We'll maybe get some
Yeah, I
soggy
agree. I mean,
waffles after that soggy pee, baby.
Soggy Pete, Soggy Pete. Yeah, I with the lightish volume, I mean, we could see another blow off top. I mean, I agree. I'm certainly
Yeah.
very interested in the Soggy Pete, so I will be monitoring that. One I'm looking at, guys, as well as STI. This was the shiny jewel a few days ago. I'm looking at that one for perhaps a hangover short. I'd like to see STI maybe get a pop up towards the previous close, or up towards 7, and ride that one on down a little bit. But outside of that, there's the list I put out there. That's what I'm looking at on small cap land this morning. HWH, one of you alerted as well in chat. That's a good one, getting some hype and volume too. Actually, HWH the setup's fairly similar, I think, to the IPDN long you took a few days ago, Mitch, where it had that euphoric move, and then it kind of consolidated, coming down about 100% or so, and then, but this one's slowly curling up is the difference here versus that IPDN long you took. What are your thoughts?
Very cup and handle look there, eh?
Yeah, what was the ticker again? I didn't grab it there.
HWH.
All right, looking at it right now, I like it. So the key with this pattern is all about sleepiness, right? So as it gets sleepy, that's the important day. It's had a whole day of sideways action. Where if you were a trader, where would your eyes go? Well, where the next move was, you were probably watching IPDN yesterday or Soggy P yesterday versus watching this name.
Yeah.
Now this morning, it gets on your radar again at 6 when you should have probably been looking at this in the 4s, right? Well, now it's hard to play it. I will say that. It's definitely hard to come after this name. It just looks like a cup and handle pattern now on the hourly. So that's what I would be going off of. And then I'd be looking at how you kind of had a bunch up at 550s, 553 on the hourly. So it just needs to hold 550s in my eyes for it to stay bullish. But right now, you're trading all the way up there to 619. It's going to be very hard to jump on this now. You're chasing. And in my eyes, you're chasing
Yeah.
and getting after this
Agreed.
name now.
Agreed.
You would need a quick sweep down below that 550s to maybe look for an entrance at the gates.
To buy that dip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only way. I look for like a lot of times like a level, like let's say that sideways action right there on the cup, right? That consolidation that you had around the 550s. Look for actions to try to break key levels like that and then sweep back. That's the only way I could see entry here. Unless you're just buying high the day breakout, and we know how those work. Those are very difficult trades, man.
Yes, they are.
I
They are
used to
very
do those all the
true.
time when
Yeah.
I first started. Let's just put it that way. There's a reason why I did them when I
Yeah.
first started.
I was there with you. I was there with you. And over time you realize that the breakouts are oftentimes, and we saw it actually yesterday with IPDN making a liquidity sweep through the highs. They're just bearish when the ticker's up multiple hundreds of percent. Breakouts are very bearish. I mean, you they work more predictably when they're not up as much. Mitch, another one I keep on watch too. I know you liked last week OPAD. That one's kind of going sideways off of 460.50.
Yeah, that one's a
Um,
tough one.
it's
That
a
one,
tough, yeah,
that one has offering written all over it.
yeah, up from a
So
dollar
that's
to
what scares
five.
the
Yeah,
crap out of me about
yes,
OPAD is that
that's the right
they want to
approach.
pad their pockets more than likely
Yeah,
sooner or later. So
well,
watch out for that move.
and their name is Offering Pad, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
the offering's
yeah,
coming.
the offer might be coming,
Yeah,
brother.
exactly.
Open is another one, right? It's just slowly
There's the
ticking.
bell, guys.
But
Best of
if
luck.
you look, I still say you look at Zillow. Zillow had a nice bounce back day. Remember I said on Tuesday, watch how Zillow goes. And if Zillow really gets crushed, then you worry about open. Right now, it's just stair stepping. Same thing I think for OPAD. Is just stair stepping. As long as you don't get no offering, you might just be able to hang in here. We'll see what happens, guys.
Guys,
Let's go.
AEO just shot straight up. That one is on what earnings, right? AEO. They've been
That
better
that that
outlook.
could be
So
liquidity off of the 18 and
I
pullback coming,
know.
right? So we'll see what
On the
happens. Put it
looking
this
left,
way,
predict
I'm not
right.
trading AEO today. I would rather trade what? ANF off of
Yeah.
AEO's report. So if AEO can have a good report, there's no reason why ANF can't have a good report. They are already reported and have pulled back on their report. I think that actually lowered the bar here. That could get it spiking today above the 94s. So just to put a different trade off of that trade out there.
And
And
just
looking around.
FYI for all that they've got, we have ISM services PMI showing up here at 11. So just know, right, if you're entering positions, there could be some
Palantir jumping.
market turbulence happening there at the 11 hour.
Good bounce back there in Palantir, guys. So you, of course, SMR, really hot day yesterday. Those types of names, SMR pulling back here, but I saw Palantir get started there. That didn't look too bad. We'll see what happens on it. It's at this level that has like 5 bottoms, so just watch out there, guys. We'll see what happens.
Choppy action.
Like
there.
5 bottoms, man.
Throwing a starter short STI, by the way, for the hangover fade. See if it gives a better entry on it. But throwing a starter out there to get a feel for it. Yeah, James, you gotta, when you take a losing trade, you gotta really sit back and think, am I oversizing like a worse hand? I mean, I like to consider trading oftentimes like I'm at the poker table, and if you're going on tilt, that's what you're doing. If you lose a pocket pair at ace hand, which is rare, but you're trading your edge, and then you get a 7-2 offsuit and you oversize it, that certainly is something we gotta take a step back on and say, you know what, let's size down. You're going against your emotions, but that's what a lot of trading is: recognizing your emotions and doing the uncomfortable.
All right, watching a small cap name there, BRIA off this 490 spot. It's interesting just because it's come down here. It looks like a liquidity move, trying to get started again back towards 6. We'll see what happens.
IPDN 850's holding up. That's pulling back. STI so far so good there. HWH. No, Mitch said he liked that one too. That's getting the spike, headed towards 7 right now. So its previous high on Tuesday was 777. It is doing that cup and handle pattern, as Michael was saying as well. So keep that one on watch. I'm watching, guys. I'm not a buy high, hope higher trader, but certainly volume here.
Let's grab you. Oh,
Looking
need
at
to fix up Kevin's thing whenever we get a chance.
Yeah, I got you. I'll fix it up right here. Just give me 1 second here. That's because
Blue
he's on
sky.
that editor status now.
Ooh,
That's what happened there.
fancy. Yeah, blue sky looks interesting there.
Looking at but we're looking at BSLK here for maybe a potential pop above 5 here. So I'm gonna be
Yeah,
quick with
that's
this. I'm trying to get it here
right where the 2-day view app is, right there, right at 5.
right at 5. That's good to know. I grabbed a little bit there to see if this can start popping above 5 there. Grabbed 200 shares there. Gonna look off to 470 here to see if this just really just rock and roll, gets through 5, starts pushing. There we go. 490, 487s, 490s. Let's start rocking and rolling, guys. Let's take
BSLK 1.4 million
There we
float,
go.
24
There we
million shares.
go. Let's go. Let's go.
Float
Nothing
rotation
crazy right
there.
now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
looking good here on this BSLK. Let me get Kevin's screen up here.
Oh, you're
Let's
good, man.
trade
Yes, sir.
AB.
Take your
BSLK, I'm
time.
taking a look at that one too.
All right, Kevin's screen. Let's do
Over
this.
SPY
5.
here. Yeah, we're
Over
popping
5.
through VWAP, IWM. Had a big sell off the open, but came right to the 2-day VWAP and then bounced there.
That 2-day VWAP, man. That thing
All right. I'm transitioning
always
just for
working.
the
Huh.
moment, but there you go. Your screen's fixed, my friend.
Okay, HWH, we're seeing 7. We're seeing a little upper wick there. That is resistance based off of Tuesday. We'll be mindful of that on the cup and handle. Outside of that, taking a look at a lot of where the action is right now is BSLK2 testing $5. We got some pre-market resistance on that one to be mindful of. What are you thinking, Mitch, as far as your profit target, taking the piece off?
Yeah, so right now it's doing a trend line approach. It's coming towards that 5. That's going to be an important spot. Can we spike above that? First profit for me would be closer towards 6, and then looking for the high of the day, 653. So 6 and 650s could be the like target action here. So for me here, what it needs to do is hold this pullback. Even if it can test me a little bit, 470s. Definitely want to see the 450 breakdown. This could also be the pattern that we talk about constantly on this show, where it's like an undercut towards support and then a rally off of it going towards the VWAP and then taking off away from the VWAP. That's what we want to see here, a takeoff away from the VWAP.
Yes, sir. CIGL too, guys. I mean, 350's holding up. Keep that one on watch. That one was with no news this morning, by the way. Closes was at 150. I was seeing 550-ish, the level for 50-day and a ceiling similar to AIHS. I'm looking for pattern recognition, especially with the market sentiment from yesterday. What worked yesterday? And that was, AIHS, the ceiling held up. So I'm looking for the same thing on CIGL. And we are spiking up towards $4 right now. Again, I'm not predicting I'm going to react to this. Go ahead.
Your boy Money Mitch stepped up to the plate there, actually added there on that. Now I have 400 shares on that pullback. Right
Let's
before
go.
5, I added there. So now that we're starting to move, what I can look for is for 5 to hold here. So let's see if 5 holds here. I'm break even right now, and mentality-wise, not putting it out there, but mentality-wise, I have it out there. 400 shares, 492 is my average price right now. Of course, that wasn't my original entry, but that's where my average is. That's why adding is only on points of breakout. So here, I'm either go or no go. Essentially come back to break even or send it.
There was another hangover as well, BTBD. I was looking at for a short. That one, $3 is holding up right now. The hangovers I like to take out of the gates, traders, and then I like to kind of sit back and wait for more predictable setups. The opening bell, I don't traditionally do too well, with trading the opening bell. So I'll wait just a little bit. I'll take the hangovers and then kick back and wait for some predictable setups.
All right, good look here on
HWH, hold it down.
Okay, let's see if it can make the real extension.
Man. HWH halted down. Good alert, James. 7 held as resistance, just double topping up there.
All right, at this point should hold 5. I've seen it hit here 520s 2 times. So at this point, I'm going to put a stop out there at 5 and just look for this to start ripping here. Still haven't put it out there. It's right back towards the resistance. This is usually when I like to put it out there. So right there, I'm going to put it out there, looking for either a continuation above 520s, pull back below 5 would just give me a nice little $40. I'll just take that $40 and keep letting it work. If not, we'll look for that continuation to really come in. There it is, right back to me, slapping me at 5. That's okay, because I give it this chance to go for the liquidity move, and then I'll look for re-entrance back above 5s. So good little profit to start the day. Let's keep trading.
Took a swing trade here. Just came through in Snowflake. So I had a nice little gap down here after earnings. This is a simple kind of mean reversion swing. You're looking for multiple lower highs in a row and then a little bit of a push down. But just because I got it on the swing trade makes me look a little bit here at the day trade. So I'm watching this thing here. Let's put on extended trading hours. if in case it gets back through VWAP today. That might actually be a little bit of my discretionary day trade of the day. So buy a little snow, that'd be like 221. Low a day stop, see if this gap down, whatever this bad news was, gets a little bit overblown. We do a recovery here.
Big bidder at 490s there on that BSLK. I'm looking for him to get hit there. It went right to him and it turned right back around. That's that 490 spot there. 15,000 shares now there, just sitting there, and that pushed right off of it. I would love for him to get tested and it pushed down to 480s, then come back up. But watching for it, guys. There's definitely some share size at that 490s. On the top end side, I see the shares at 510.
My, oh man, there's a lot going on, guys. ZNB was one on the small cap watch list this morning too. That one's approaching. Pull up the chart. There's ZNB. It's approaching $3 right now.
Yeah, I see it. It just bounced off that 260s. This is a 90 MA bounce there. Looks good. I'd like to see a 250 pullback on this name just because I'm already too far from the action. But you can see also in the morning, this is 1, 2. This is kind of like the third pattern. This is the pattern that usually drives, and then you might have some struggle as it continues. So this is the time to ride it. It's riding good. Let's see if it can continue here, or does it smack right back down here? VWAP test coming in. It looks like back to VWAP. We'll see what happens.
Typically like these for a short up here, but
Hey, if
the
you see it,
past
my
chart
friend, you get
history.
it.
Yeah, the past chart history I'm not in love with. This had a large gap down. A lot of traders come in for these dead cat bounce plays, but I'm monitoring it. Maybe for the 320 level, we'll see if it consolidates here for the next leg up. CIGL, that one's been a little heavy against the top there.
Back in.
All right.
Back in BSLK here, trying to let this try to push above here. Breaks 490s. That's going to be the concern here. It was looking like it wanted to pop back above 5 there, so I took a shot here to risk essentially kind of what I just made, right? So even if I risk 20 bucks from that, let's see what happens now. Can I get the lift in BSLK?
Guys, BBLG's got so much resistance in pre-market around these threes. I'm gonna throw a little bit out on BBLG against like 320. BBLG, a lot of overhead resistance from pre-market. It's an edge I like to take here often. I mean, it could do a little red to green move and squeeze up and out towards that level. A lot of longs in this consolidation range, so we'll see what happens. Not too far off of its close. So just be mindful of that one. What's CIGL doing right now? CIGL, ooh, that one nearly elevator down, guys. 470s is holding. It's back down towards the open. We could see that one do a little green to red move on the day. CIGL, I would be interested in an entry, maybe on a little pop, a shorts cover.
There's the BSLK liquidity move, so just be careful out there, guys. Now it needs to come back
STI
fast.
hangover dumping. I need to throw a sticky note on this, Mitch. STI is looking good.
BSLK dumping fast there, guys. Now that rejected there above the 5, right around the 520 area that you like, Kevin, just to put it out there.
Yes,
so
sir.
might get dumped on in this one here. We'll see what happens, but definitely liquidity came in fast there.
BBLG coming up. That may take me out. Almost popping up towards 3. 320 is the stop.
SPY doing, or the Q's doing quite a bit of a sell here. So ramped off the open and then just gave that back. And we're sitting right on the low of the day for the Qs. Wow. SPY doing a little bit better. IWM at highs of the day. So the great unwind continues.
ZNB up and over 3 right now, up to 310. ZNB. I like this chart. The only thing keeping me back is the past chart history here is not great. I like for all variables to line up. The stars need to align for me, where maybe the past chart history looks great. We're not only up 100% on the day, but we're approaching a ceiling of resistance. We have the euphoria where it's hitting certain levels. A lot of stars I like to line up. I'm keeping the eye peeled on ZNB. Right now, we're seeing some lower wicks on it. Signifying some buyers are stepping into ZMB. See on these pullbacks right now, buyers are stepping in.
All right, seeing some buyers come back into BSLK. We'll let you know if it gets back above 5 there. That's just one that I'm watching for. Still stuck in it right now, kind of measuring it out here, see if it can get back above 5. Definitely held the 450 support, but if that goes, it can really flush down. So,
CIGL real heavy, guys, going red on the day right now. A lot of red candles putting in from the high 470 to 350. So
yep, a lot of names not being able to hold on right now.
yeah, and that's just off of yesterday. What did we see yesterday? I mean, lack of sustainability in some of these small cap names. Man, it'd be great to be involved in the CIGL right now. It's going to halt down.
Which is wild because the small cap index we're hitting new highs here. So yeah, it seems like some of
Just
the
the
gas
trad
taken out
names,
of the
yeah.
the real crazy dudes, the like micro floats. But remember, we got 15 minutes, so we have a major number. Some things should kind of kick off with that, and then yeah, like Tack is saying, tomorrow there is just
HWH halted down too. Oh my
economic
God.
numbers galore tomorrow.
HWH still halted down. We got what, a 10-minute halt. HWH should open up within a minute, guys. It's time phase. Yeah, CIGL.
Yeah, I saw Shane
Unbelievable.
there is short a bunch. So let's really hope for a nice open lower for him. That would be fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. 1500 on HWH.
Yeah, so
Hey,
I'm
get
rooting
after
for
it,
you.
my friend.
I got
Shane, yeah, should be within a minute. Yeah.
I got no
Oof.
position. I hope
Look
it
at
goes
that
0.
BSLK. It's coming after me fast there, guys. I'm going to take probably a max hit here. That is just a washout quick there, guys. Talked about it. If it loses that 450s, it could come fast, and it just got me there, guys. So pretty much almost done for the day. I can trade, but definitely shouldn't be trading after that loss. That was a big loss there. Went down there from like 480s down to like 420s in a heartbeat. So big loss there to start it off with BSLK. I can just tell I'm just not in it right now. I got things going on at home, just shaking all around, just not seeing it, and tried to push it there and paid the price for it. So, hey, that's just how it goes.
ZNB Magic 20s is testing. Thinking about ZNB up here at 320.
HWH. Oh yeah, we opened a fair bit lower for Shane. So congratulations, bud. We opened all the way down a buck almost.
Oh, Shane killing it.
That's my boy
Dude.
Shane, yo. He's a
Oh
monster.
man, the elevator downs, man. I love them. I love them. The elevator downs.
Yeah,
Boy's a monster.
when they let go, right? It's a
Yes, the stair steps up or the elevator down. You know, I started the journey taking the stairs up, but intraday the elevator downs. You know, clearly way more fun. Let's be
well, and
honest.
especially right,
Clearly.
you're talking about junks, right? This is a game of
Yeah,
musical chairs, right? These
yeah,
are
yeah.
awful companies, and it's just it's the greater fool theory: is can I buy this now and sell it to some other dolt a little bit higher, and eventually, right, the game musical chair, the music stops, and
Yeah.
yeah, now Shane's up a buck. So if he held on, he's up 1,500 on that position. Ooh-wee.
IPDN trying to go for a 9 break here. We'll see if it actually makes a move off of that 9 break.
Yeah, Mitch, I'm sorry. Like I feel like I've been at that place certainly the last few years, like where I've traded and the kids are like when they were 1, 2. It's tough, dude. It's tough. Screaming all in the background.
It's not.
Robots.
It's just is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
It's my pick there. Just got a little bit too confident there in BSLK. That's all it is.
Yeah. 320 holding up ZNB. Didn't get that entry. She's pulling back hard off of that.
That's right. Steph's right, right? He just says, tomorrow's another day. Go kick some rocks, hit the gym, get real mad, list some shit, and then off you go.
Yeah, just gotta stay focused, man. That's all it is. Not being focused. ZMB now breaking 3 there. That's continuing. That one just recently had a split, so we know how that
Yeah.
sometimes can run prices.
These companies, they'll do the splits and then they'll come out with news right thereafter to try to create increased demand, after diluting its shareholders, but decreasing the share count. So they can certainly get a large rip after those splits. Be mindful of that. Your 1,000 shares turns into 100. There's ZMB. 320 is testing the highs out. Okay. So did get accumulated again on that pullback. CIGL still halted down.
SOGP starting to drop there, guys. They can maybe make one more lift there, but it doesn't look too bad there. They maybe take a shot now.
The BBLG I'm in, falling out of love with it. It's back up towards 3. It's just been chopping around. Keep the 320 stop on it. STI, nice hangover fade, still working out. SOGP hit 29. It's been a little heavy off of that. I'm tempted. Tempted on the SOGP.
Yeah, I just want closest to 28 here so I can risk above 29. I'll take it if it gets there.
Okay, BBLG, I got stopped out of traders.
Yeah, let's just see if I can hear it. Offer on the offer for SOG, but I don't know if I'll get filled on the offer. 40-cent spread there, so just be careful, guys. That SOGP, just disaster all over it.
A lot of the game musical chairs, seems to be ending for a lot of these crazy microcap dudes. So
CIGL opened up, getting a little pop there. The risk could be like against the open, technical level there at this point in time. Certainly heavy against the highs. CIGL, no news, lower flow. So obviously set the stop, guys. I mean, I don't know how you guys are with mental versus hard. I say hard. I say hard stops, especially on these names.
All right, trying to add to SOGG here, guys.
Yeah, 360s is the open there. I gotta sprinkle something on Soggy P, I think. This
Of course, I'm probably going for a little bit of a revenge trade, but hey, up about $100 already.
Dude, well, it's a great ticker to revenge on.
I said, you know what? I saw this little bunch up. I said, you know what? We're going for the 27 cut down. Let's get it.
I mean, this thing has...
All right, we're about to halt. I'm going to try to add here. Come on. No add. It just flew down through the limit. It flew down through the limit, man. I'm going to pull it back up because it's just going to bounce now. But up about 200 now, 223. Maybe we get our money back, man. Who knows?
I'm experiencing the FOMO.
Oh, experience it through me, man.
Catching these tickers. You got to be quick on some of these.
What did we say, right? Pop to 30, rejection in the 30.
Yeah.
So, that's sometimes what you got to do. You just got to go with it. Normal trade there, I'd probably cash some. But since the day I'm so down, I'm just going to survivor it and see if it can go here. I'll put a small stop out there, like $85, just to put the stop out there. And now just let it work. See what happens. I'll be back, guys. Be right back. I need to go take some
8
rocks.
minutes to 8 minutes to that number. So just pay attention, right? We've done nothing. There's UIWM.
Yeah, the market,
in the SPY, we've done nothing. Q's done nothing.
Eerily quiet, right? When it's waiting for a number like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say it all the time, right? I work with a lot of people who trade with bots. I've worked with a lot of hedge funds and built different systems and bots for them. And they're not taking big positions before this, right? They're just not going to do it. So they're gonna hang out.
You think the high frequency trading, they just press the off switch for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we don't, we're gonna trade 100,000 times today, so we don't need this first half hour.
Yeah.
Let's turn it off and let's just wait. Let's just wait for all of the news that we know is out of the way and go. And then you got to think that there's a lot of prop traders. There's some prop firms, not ours, but there's a lot of prop firms that say if you've got this red icon right here, you're not allowed to trade around that time. They just don't want you to trade around the news because a lot of people get killed, a lot of people do great. So there's tons and tons of different prop firms, hedge funds, that kind of thing that just say, you know what, it's not for me. I'm not trading around big economic events. So we're just going to wait for a minute or so after, and then we'll flip the bots back on then. And so quite often you get exactly what we're seeing right now, which is just like a whole lot of nothing. And then right after the number, even if the number is inconsequential, then you kind of get your trend after that once they go, okay, now we can actually take trades.
Traders IPDN popped right up to the magic 20, 920, and against previous close. This is one I think longs are stuck in from yesterday. I'm going to take a short position there.
Well, and look, right, the 2-day VWAP was the high here right before the open. That's sitting at 943. I think I've been noticing in your plays, these seem like they're kind of blankets for these, right, where you can't really move from here. So, can you trade from TradingView? Not directly through Trade the Pool, but you can do with bot trading for Signal Stack. So take a look at that. There's a couple. If you go to our video on demand channel, there's a bunch of different videos, and I did webinars about that. But for me, now TradingView I use for charting because I trade the pool. I trade my own capital. I trade crypto. I trade futures. I trade forex. I trade if it's got a chart and I can build a bot for it. I trade it. So, but yeah, you can do some systems trading and that type of stuff, which is really really cool.
Open getting a little spike.
Ooh, I'm still in that one. Still waiting for someone to tell me that that they're either the trade is done or they have covered their positions, and I haven't seen any evidence of either of that right now. So as long as the price is moving in my direction, as long as they haven't covered that position, then I'm good.
Yeah, good work, guys. HWH, CIGL. I'm certainly wanting a position, but I'm pretty disciplined about chasing. I'm not going to chase some of these names if I miss that initial entry. What I would like here, like for Shane, excellent profit there. He's all out. I like to work, a little bit of a position because think about yesterday with AIHS. I mean, that thing faded all day long. So even if you own 1,500 shares left, 200 shares on a trail. I mean, that can make you an extra $400 or $500 or more. So that's where I'd like to be if I was in one of these, just having taken the predictable piece off, then leaving a percentage to trail. But excellent work.
Yeah, I know discretionary traders, right, that call it like their salary and their bonus, right? And the main bit they take off is the salary, and then they're just going to leave a bit for and that's kind of their bonus, right? That's what they're trying to get from.
BBLG, Angela's pointing out. Yep, that one's making new highs.
BBLG. Oh yeah, nice breakout there. Big consolidation all day. Then a nice little pop. That's good.
What's the bot taking so far?
Let's take a look. It's been a bit. It's been a couple. So, AEI bought a little bit here at 190. So this is just kind of a big strong day yesterday. Pulled back into that one, and then just CDP, and that's it. CDP to the short side. Don't know what this guy is, but CPOP Defense Properties. Cool. It's a little bit overdone. And then I'm really watching this snow just because it came through a swing trade for my swing trading system. Just waiting to see if it can get back above VWAP here, but I'm really trying to
Oh,
just sit
mean
on my
reversion
hands.
right there. Yeah, I see that
Yeah,
one.
because we've got 1 minute until this number, so I'm trying not to do too much. I'm not one that I'll turn off the bot beforehand. Maybe in the future, if I kind of track it enough and realize that that's a good idea, then I'll do that. I think that's mostly for other types of traders,
Absolutely.
people who are trading way bigger than us, right? I'm way more okay with just taking a little bit, kind of here or there. I'm not taking tens of
Yeah, and
millions
it's
of
all,
dollars in trades,
percentage wise
right?
based on the accounts. I'm working the 25K flex. I'm going for a consistent approach. I can't swing $1,500 on that for 25K account. Percentage wise, I'd like to go for 100 $200 in a day, and then try to keep the max loss tighter than what the $500 on the flex. Yeah, what do you think about that as far as your max loss goes versus like the daily goal, or what you're normally hitting that on the profit side of things?
So for me personally, I don't do daily
You,
goals because it's all systematized, right? I
yeah,
get the
just
daily goals are again, they're one of those mental hurdles that systems
yeah.
trading is going to really help
Systems
with,
just going
where
to
I'm
take the
not,
edge every time it
it
presents itself, regardless,
just
and it'll
won't do
shut.
it. But
Yeah,
ANF new high, ANF new high. That's probably the better trade, like I mentioned, off the AEO. AEO holding, ANF pushing. One's a leader,
the,
one's a lag.
so yeah, the spies here right after that number, not doing too much, but again, what we're looking for is just for that to be out of the way, so the market can move. But the IWM is just holding so relatively strong here.
yeah, I certainly get that. The edge every time it presents itself, take it essentially. So some days you'll hit far further than what you may do on an average day. I like to say, like, what you picturize, you actualize. Like what you focus on, your mind, you tend to work towards it. I know Musk pointed that out before, where he said, give yourself 30 minutes to get this done, and you'll do it in 30 minutes. Give yourself a week to do it, it'll take a
Hmm.
week. So the mind can work wonders. BBLG hitting new highs right now. Angelo, you killing it over there? Let's go.
Nice work there. Looks like we're resolving potentially, maybe. Well, looks like we're trying to resolve higher here after that number. Again, it's not the number that we care about. It's the fact that we know, well, I know from a lot of people, they just say, okay, if this number's coming out at 10, we're going to turn on the bot at, right, 10:01, 10:05, whatever it is. Give them a couple minutes to shake out whatever happens, and then we turn on our systems, and that will start to kind of push things the way things actually want to go that day. And yeah, so far we're hanging out here. Nothing really happening.
That CRM, I heard you watching. That's curling around a bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe another trigger on that. It looked like it had a great pre-market trade. Yeah, so if this candle closes, I should hear a little ding, and it should just pop into my account right there. Again, this is a more expensive one, but like I always say, we make or lose money on percentages. We don't make, right? You could take one share of a $200 stock, or 10 shares of a $20 stock, or right, 100 shares of $1,000 stock. Doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
what's the percentage.
Yeah. Open is flying. Rodney's pointing out.
Let's not jinx me, please. Let's not talk too much about it. Let's, right, knock on the wood, do whatever we got to do. But yeah, we got that prior high here and open at what's that? That tick was like $6. Yeah, so through $6 maybe. Again, I've got a resting order out there for a little bit under 10, which I know is kind of lofty for most of the position. But yeah, I'm kind of just holding on, waiting, hoping, doing that kind of thing. It's gonna kind of happen all at once if there is a squeeze. That's usually how these squeeze happen. Is they build slowly over time, and then you just get like a boom, and that's when the guys liquidate when they have to liquidate, right? They don't liquidate pretty. And then after that big flex, when everyone gets liquidated, then you get a little bit of a pullback after that.
ZNB. Ooh, dang, guys. Yeah, that one's pulling back hard right there. HWH, I still would like an entry on that. It kind of looks bear flaggish. 620 would likely be my risk. It's about 60 cents off of that right now. It's right near the open would be the risk for me there in VWAP. It could start going sideways here in this cup and handle though. So
Look at the 2-day VWAP. So that orange line, the last
yes,
2-minute chart, but
hitting it
just hits
perfectly.
that and
Yeah,
then reversing. I find
yeah.
that it works even better on some of these crazy names than it does on normal ones, because no one cared about this thing any more than 2 days ago. So right, this
Right,
average
exactly.
price of 2 days seems to be kind of really important. So
Good alert, James. NCI popping up towards pre-market resistance. I like it. We're gonna have some resistance there, 275 from where longs were at. Crossing the 200-day, which typically we're seeing an upper shadow there. Any fundamentals there this morning? I'm not seeing anything.
All right, guys, trying to get lined up to add in SOG P. If it breaks 26, we'll see what happens.
yeah, SPED is tanking.
Yeah,
Ethereum
just
selling,
look for BMNR maybe to tank too.
but yeah, Ethereum is just kind of range bound here, right? Nothing's really happening on the Ethereum side of things. Down a little bit today, but just not
Yeah.
even to yesterday's low.
BMNR also tanking too. That looks like an opportunity there. They're both dropping fast.
Yeah,
A little hesitant on my entries. Yeah, NCI hit that 275 hard and retraced that move.
relative strength, and that's Solana.
BBLG still hanging in there. That's probably in small cap land where the mob, as Josh would say, they're at. BBLG still hanging in there.
Yeah, VIX might start spiking, guys. Things just don't look that great today.
Yeah, SPY selling just a bit here. IWM holding on quite a bit better, and then the Q's selling just a little bit there too. It's down 0.08%.
STI boring play working out well right now, guys. Boring equals profitability. A lot of times it really does. I mean, I enjoy focusing like the CIGLs and the BBLGs, but oftentimes a slow, boring, shiny jewel from 3 days ago fading it works really well. I like essentially what Money Mitch is doing too with Soggy P. I mean, if fading something that's up from $1 to 26.
Yeah, well, this is the whole thing, right? My whole thing is I just why I play so many second day plays, right? Because the whole
Yeah.
world kind of forgets about them. You can get, a little bit of cleaner type, less crazy moves, and they're slower. They don't make for as good of content, but content doesn't feed my kids, right? Profits feed my kids. So
Exactly.
Well, I'd actually beg to differ, but content can, but majority of the times it ain't.
yeah, I'm not entertaining enough. That's the problem. I gotta like dye my beard a weird color or something. And we gotta go. Like what pink, purple?
SNTG, we'll see if it gets started again. 15-minute chart. That's a tough one. It's back and forth. SNTG. I don't know if you know that one, Kevin, but
SNTG. Give me a second. NCI, guys. I'm going to start a position. NCI shooting up. Which one did you say? ST what?
SNTG.
SNTG.
I think went up to 3, went back down.
Oh, 320 too. Gosh, dude. 320 on the button.
It's a tough one, man. Tough one. Back and forth.
Yeah, NCI, guys. That one's going to be for me against 320. I'm just starting it, looking to build a position there. I like the short here against really the 200-day. We've seen it kind of pull back under, and that 200-day is right at 230. So I will give it a shot.
Ooh, that CIEN. It's been a good short all day. after the pop.
Yeah, here's what I'm working, guys. NCI hitting this one. Mob could shift over here. BBLG is one Angelo was getting. That one's starting to pull back in a little bit, so we could see the mob shift. $4 held up there, right through that whole dollar. That's always a good area to take profits. In and around that whole dollar. Just you take that predictable piece off. Leave some to run if you want. But sometimes when you get these pullbacks, it can be dirty, especially what we saw yesterday. So market sentiment. So NCI, I'm hitting this one short. I'm gonna hit it again up towards 320, and that'll be in and around the risk. And then just working two slow shorts here, STI and then IPDN on the sidelines.
Q's hit the 2-day VWAP and bounced a bit. SPY a little bit above the 2-day VWAP, and IWM hit the 2-day VWAP and bounced just a little bit there.
Love that. Great analysis on that.
Yeah, we're right there, and I think that level's important, right? If we lose that, then it could be a little sell, a little bit of a bearish day. We could maybe retrace some of that massive move we had yesterday. That's, we're sitting right at the highs of yesterday for the SPY. The Qs were a little bit under. We're kind of halfway through yesterday's range. And then the IWM, we're at about halfway through yesterday's range. So big day, last 2 days, if you just looked at from the close to now. So a rest day makes perfect sense. And just FYI, I'm kind of agreeing with TAC. TAC was based.
Agreeing with TAC?
Yeah, that's
NCI
rare.
taking that off. Great work there. Anybody who got nice short, Chef, thank you. I hope you got it as well, NCI. We got Josh in here. Josh, what you looking at? Let's add you to the scene.
Welcome, man.
Good morning, Josh. How's your morning?
How
going?
you doing? Yeah,
I heard you in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was on. I thought I muted my mic. I was trying to talk to my team there. I just got. I was switching from them over to you guys and got filled on the BBLG dip buy here. But yeah, I was looking at BBLG and the dip buy opportunity. How you guys doing today? How we been?
Not bad.
Volatility, right?
I know you've had more of maybe a rough morning, Mitch.
Yeah, and then I got too pretty. I got too pretty with BSLK there. I had it pegged there for a second. Thought I was going back above 5, and then just washed really quickly. Got out all the way down towards 408. So really bad hit there.
Those washes, they're awful when those happen.
I mean, really, it should have been out the 480 there, but just hesitated for a slight second. You know how that goes. SNTG, it still looks like it wants to go, man. I don't know about that.
And that second really makes a difference because I've certainly missed a few really good plays that a lot of the team has got this morning too, just on that second of hesitation. Like the CIGL, beautiful elevator down. HWH, beautiful elevator down. Josh, you working the upside like we did yesterday? You getting the upside? I'm getting the downside. What are we doing? You're muted. Or my ears are going out. Maybe he's talking to his chat.
Mute it.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Hey,
let's go.
Sorry. I'm double dipping. You double dip the chip? Yeah, I'm double dipping. I wanted the downside for Sigil. It just happened so quickly. Had that quick volatile move up, and so then I'm waiting for it, and then the quick volatile move down, and then it halted down before I could even get in. So I just never got filled on Sigil. Kind of let that go. Is bouncing at my bounce territory. You can see my little demand zone down there around that $293 mark. Is working out pretty nicely. I wanted the downside on Sigil today. I wanted the downside on really a lot of these plays are just really volatile movements. So if you got filled up top again, like we've talked about, this is where the shorts are at. Would have loved the double top here on BBLG as well. That would have been another great short. What did you short today so far, Kevin?
Oh, I've just taken hangovers, really. I mean, I got STI, IPD, and I alerted those to you in the chat this morning. Yeah, just the slow hangover plays. They're working out real well, and I was too hesitant on the CI. I shouldn't have been based on yesterday, coming into today. But CIGL, a couple guys in chat got that excellent. And I'm looking for another entry, trying to be patient, spelt with a PAY, and NCI, dude, 290s to 240s. Anybody else in chat get that one? I did catch that one, Josh. NCI caught that a little bit.
Gorgeous.
Got a small piece of that.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
CIGL coming up towards VWAP in the open. Those are good areas to risk. I know this is a lower float. We kind of had that blow off top already, though. So clear risk there at the open, around 360-ish, 70. But I'm looking for another entry on one of these plays. Yeah.
That's beautiful short there. The one play I did alert this morning too as well, which was my kind of my large cap baby of the morning, was this beautiful move from Meta. Nice, good flat top flag here, and the squeeze and the breakouts. That was a multi 10-point move there right at the opening gate. That was a banger of a trade right there. And my BBLG slowly working out for me here as we're kind of popping out. But yeah, that's me. That's me for the day. What you're looking at right there.
Very nice. Yeah, what are you thinking, BBLG? I mean, it's bouncing off 320 VWAP. You thinking we retest? I mean, okay, go.
No, I was gonna say, that's the thing today is what we're not like what we talked about, that keyword for me, mob, right? No one's gathering the mob like yesterday with AIHS. We had a clear cut winner. Today, I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting to see who's gonna gain it, gather it. No one has. So you keep seeing what you're seeing on NCI, which was a great, it's just kind of like we go from one to the other, and then all the other plays are starting to kind of cracked down a second ago, with Sigil and whatever have you, and then boom, you get NCI to good pop back up again. So that's what you're looking for today to kind of see the
Chad, I want to point out
this is that type of day, guys. That type of day. Right back. Look, the SNTG. Let's go.
NCI, guys, I want to point out, I mean, the upper wicks against the 200 day, and it's right back down to it at 230 NCI, by the way. So it kind of felt far-fetched, saying that, but when you just look at the past chart history and see, what are we looking at here? What does it normally do when it taps this level? I need past chart history. It's really why I don't trade IPOs. I want to find predictable patterns, and when you look left, it's easier to predict right. You can see on an average trading day with this much volume, I'll throw this in there for free. Look at past chart history. Look at the volume on that day. Is it similar to today? Well, what can it do? What's the range on that day? And you can get an idea. That helps, give you direction as far as how far this thing can run.
Will SOG P come down today?
Soggy P. I was hoping to get one more leg up on it, I was hoping.
I'm hoping for soggy waffles, baby. Let's go.
Oh man, you may get some soggy pancakes. Soggy pancakes.
Put too much maple syrup on that thing. Let it get real soggy.
Soggy pancakes.
We're back up to VWAP. Seems you're having a hard time at the WAP.
Yeah, man. I've been. It's like I put a limit out like at 28 to add, but that's just a limit just to be like, no, don't come and get me. I'm just spoofing it, But at the same time, I'm here like, what are you gonna do, man? Look at it separate there, 94 ticks, right? Like that's nearly impossible to trade. But just be careful.
What happened to PayPal?
PayPal
just tanked last.
Ooh, that might
actually
affect like XYZ or something like that. Yeah, look at XYZ. This is why I trade relationships, guys. So you see something selling off like that. Remember I said the VIX could get spiking here. It felt like it was going to get spiking. There's the VIX starting to spike there. So good spike off to 36.26. That could also help some of the down moves, right? Not just necessarily the up moves. If we just start crashing all around, well, then you can start to take a look at that. There's only one sector in the green in the last 15 minutes, which is slightly energy. Rest of them are red in the last 15 minutes.
Anybody catch the job numbers? Did they come out? I mean, I clearly affecting the market to some degree.
Yeah, they were out this morning, and then this ISM came out at 10. I don't know what the numbers are. I know they exist, so I know the volatility is coming, and then other than that, right. Meh.
You fun.
Yeah, I never looked at that too much. Yeah, they did come out.
Come on, SNTG. Let's get going. Let's just go right back into an uphold. Give me my money back. No money back. Soggy P.
Soggy P spiking right there.
I just got soggy waffled right there. That's what you call that right there. I just got soggy waffled out, man. Watch for like maybe an SNTG takeout, but definitely just got taken out myself there. Boom, out to the woodshed. Lock him out there. He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back. That right there is definitely a trombone sad kind of day.
SPY retaking the open here, or retaking the low. This might be, where am I? Here I am. This might be one of those liquidity things to watch, right? So you had not only the open, but you had this kind of pre-market range all hanging out around this 644. We crack back under in this 5-minute chart and then rip back up through. That could be one of those, smash and grabs. Right? Sucker in a bunch of shorts and then rip her back through. Let's, I don't know. Let's see there. So that's interesting to me to potentially take a little bit of a reversal there. Still watching my snow. Still nothing happening there. Still watching. What was the other one? CRM.
There's the SPY
there's
catching.
TRM,
There's
should
the
be.
dip buyers. Of course, where are they coming in on? Hourly lows. Yesterday's resistance. So there comes some buying coming in there in the SPY and the Qs. We'll see if he starts to come back there. Name that I'll be watching, Microsoft. Big boys. Watch for those big boys to start kicking off, man.
Mr. Trevor, ZMB, what about a short if it stays below VWAP? I think you're onto something. Here's what you want to look at. It's trying to hold this pre-market resistance, now support. We see the lower wick there at 250. You could play the 320-ish resistance for this to fade and perhaps even come back down to 250 and crack below that. But just know the risk reward there, and if it makes sense, I'd be interested in a pop. Risking the highs, so we're a little closer to that risk. Yeah, I think you're onto something with that though.
That's one thing I'm looking for, just so everyone, like what you were talking about earlier, honestly, Kevin, something to pop back up again for these small cap plays to look for a reversal for a short. We're bound to get another one. So just sitting back and having some patience right now. Another one is, I think it was a Trevor, not Trevor traded this, but Mitch, you talked about BSLK. BSLK would be another one to possibly U-shape back on around and look for a possible reversal up in that $5 area. Nice whole round number. Failed there at the opening bell. We got the VWAP there. It most likely is not going to get there, but we can look for that. So that's what I'm just waiting for, plays to pop back up into these resistance areas, like Kevin just said about that 320 area for ZenB. You just kind of identify. You can see where a lot of that resistance is at, and that would be what you'd be looking for a possible pop back up too. But we can see what you were talking about too, son. So waiting, patience right here for me. And that's it. Patience is the game.
IPDN, I took the short against 920. I'm just, it's sitting at the open. I may take a piece off here. Just want to see what it's going to do at the open. If we're going to get back under and go red or not.
Another one. I forgot about that one today. So many in the small caps today. It was another one of those days.
STI was good. Yeah, there were so many. I like it. My trader ADHD loves it. I mean,
you get your fill. You get plenty of.
Yeah, it's like constantly. Yeah. I mean, because you go through those segments where there's like the one, and then it's like, those days hurt me because it was like, I'm trying to distract myself with other trades and there's only one in small cap land, moving. And I'm like, I want to trade something else, because they get overcrowded and then it becomes less predictable. You get a lot more manipulation and chop and whatnot.
Good alert there from Paulie. DLTH is moving. So DLTH, another new small cap play here popping up. So here's your new kind of somewhat of a mover where it's out of nowhere right here. Nice, good squeeze play.
Nothing is sustaining though. They keep popping up. I mean, they keep popping up, and it's just one from one to the other to the other. 420, I'm seeing as resistance left of the chart on DLT.
There you go. There it is. All over it, Kevin.
And 520. Oh yeah, as soon as I pull these up, it's like directly to the left. I go figure out where those levels are.
Yep, and there you see the strong failing area there. And I wouldn't mind for this to crest, since we've already kind of missed the short. I like for him to come down, chop its way back down to 320 or 340, and then watch for that quick move like you got on NCI back up into that area. And that was just a beautiful short. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about, what I'm waiting for with these plays, just waiting for something to move back up into its fail zone. Go there, you'll fail.
Yeah, it looks like they came out with some earnings. They beat the estimate by a few pennies.
See the call at the opening bell there that they had. Let's listen in like we used to, Kevin. We'll listen into the
Exactly.
important phone
It's
calls.
funny because this news came out. I mean, the news came out at like 5 o'clock, and you see a few little candlesticks of volume there, but nope, you need volume. Yeah, I used to listen in and be like, oh, I'm in before everybody else, and then they go sideways all day, no action. It's like that's why our series yesterday we were talking about volume, volume, volume. Like for real estate, it's like location, location, location. You have to have volume. I mean, otherwise, why trade it with no price action? You're the only investor in this company.
You are all over that.
Just an SEC unveils new rulemaking plan to reform crypto regulators. I wonder if that's is that what happened with PayPal or SBET? No, SBET bouncing a bit.
I don't know. It looks like they're definitely going after those, but I'll try to find out the PayPal situation.
Yeah, so SPY ripping. So it does seem like that was an undercut, like a little fake out, get the bears all excited, and then take their ice cream, ruin their day as we rip back through VWAP here, holding back above VWAP. And again, happened right at the pre-market low, and low of the day, a little bit of that undercut, ripper back through. Seeing that kind of across the board here, IWM to lesser extent. Did the same thing, never broke today's low, so a little bit strong there from that standpoint. RSP is up a lot, so the average large cap stock is doing okay here, and the Q's lagging a little bit to the SPY. So that means we got to take a look at things like XLF doing okay, XLV doing great on the XLV here.
BBLG, I did get out of that. I'm out of that bounce play. Got out of that bounce play as well. Nice little bounce play for me. 307 had some exits at 333, 344, and 351. I'll take it.
Oh, nice work, man. You got those dip plays down pretty good.
Yeah, it was me. It was my first. Like I said that a few weeks ago when I was going live on my stream. I was like, guys, I shorten the tops where it's at. I'm not a big shorter up top. I've always been like a trend crack reversal short. I call it a shelf shorting under a support area. It's just safer. They're not working right now. What's working are reversals at high of day, and of course then reversals down low, and those dip buys. And I was like, I'm going back to dip buys. Like I'm going back to dip buys. This reminds me of 2018, 2019 when I was trading. That's where I'm going to, and that's so that's where I'm at right now. Is just going back to dip buys, and that was a beautiful dip buy right there.
Good alert, Paulo, on that DLTH. Missed it, but
Looks
yeah,
like
the
Senate is grilling Stephen Barron, the Fed nomination by Donald Trump to fill the Federal Reserve governor that was vacated. So looks like he's stating that he's going to uphold the central bank's independence, as well as the dual mandate of price stability and maximum employment.
Fired. We don't want that. We don't want you to uphold and make sure that there's.
So he's a backer of Jerome Powell. That's what he's
get at it. You want people to be employed and things not to cost a lot. You get out of here. We want to lower
I would
rates.
be looking for is, does Donald Trump come out and then say, you know what, to hell with him. He said that. You know what, get him off. I denominate him now.
Yeah, fire him too. We want the guy. They should just walk into the room. Okay, who's going to lower rates the most? Raise your hand. All right, you got the job. Get in here.
It's that
All of you.
bank independence thing, right? They're getting grilled a bunch on that question. But hey, we'll see if that even matters. For a long time, if you would have told me that monetary policy is going to get pressured by fiscal policy to where it needs to be one policy, I'd be like, yeah, that's going to wreck the markets, right? Well, it hasn't wrecked the market so far, right? Just the way things are.
Yep.
If you would have brought that up in, let's say my, would have been corporate finance class? Nah, it wouldn't. Maybe my economics class, one of my economics class, they would have been like, oh, the whole economy just gets destroyed. The books would have been like, yeah, no, that's end of the world. But that's what we're seeing right there, and it's a little bit of a change of tune. Name that's
Sonic
holding up today, Bloom Energy and the big boys. The big boys, I think, are starting to take off, guys. Microsoft starting to push there. Market overall just pushing since that bottoming that I talked about like just a little while ago. And it's always, like this right now. Like when I feel like the market wants to run is usually when I have no ability to trade. So right now it's like, all right, well, send it. Let's see what happens, guys. So let's see if the big boys start to run. Apple, I'd be paying attention to. Google, right? Those names were really hot yesterday. They're pulled back some today. They need to get strong if you're going to get this market to kind of continue on. AMD that had that downgrade. Let's see if it picks up through 160. Nvidia, let's see if it picks up through 171. Right? Those types of names. The AMD chart and Nvidia chart look very similar, telling me more and more they're trading by algos right now. So keep your eyes on the action. We'll see if it starts to get going. Palantir is another one that I talked about early. Look for the momentum to flip, and that be also a sign that we're okay for today. The world's not ending. Palantir is going back up, guys.
Well, that's what, right? Seems like a range day so far, 100%. And again, I hate to agree with Tack, but he said this early in the day. Let's take a look at all of the crazy economic stuff tomorrow, right?
Yeah, the big jobs report, right?
Big one. This is what everyone cares about because this is going to give us the best indication of potentially what JPOW is going to do. So always put yourself in the shoes of a large hedge fund manager, a big institution. Are you taking your bet today, or are you just going to wait till tomorrow till that number's out of the way, right? If I've got $1 billion to work, I don't need to do it today. There's nothing rushing today. So what I'll do is I'll wait till after 8:30 tomorrow. Tomorrow on the open, I'll say, okay, this is out of the way. I'm gonna just take my bet then. It's only us degen day traders that feel the need to kind of go crazy every day. And then as I'm going through next week now, you can see pretty much nothing till Wednesday, a little bit Thursday, a little tiny bit Friday, but a much lighter week. So this is the number that everyone cares about, right? This is where if you're swing trading, just FYI, going into the close of today, be careful. The day traders don't really care because it'll be out by the time the market opens. But if you're swing trading and you're holding stuff into this report, just know that, size accordingly. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Just means there's going to be risk. And tries accordingly. So
Degen day trader. That's a compliment in my book.
that's it.
AEO, by the way, AEO 1820 is holding up. Triple top there, by the way, guys. AEO, just throwing that.
Yeah,
out
I
there.
didn't take the early candles here, but I am watching this one for a VWAP to VWAP fade, right? So breakthrough VWAP. If we fail at this VWAP, the target's the 2-day, which is 1680. And that's like halfway into the pre-market range. So I'm still waiting for that. Again, just these are not fully systematic because I have to build the list and all of that. So those I don't like to take too many before a big earnings announcement.
Mm-hmm.
GM cutting output at one of its main electric vehicle factories. Oh no!
Seeing that quite a bit across the board. Sales aren't there for those EVs or electric vehicles, really.
Yeah, not the right president for it. Just wait for the next one. And all the policies just get flipped right back, guys.
Right.
So that's just a part of the name of the game, guys.
BBLG putting in a third upper wick at $4. Be mindful of that, traders. But it's also putting in a third lower wick. It's getting balled up too. It's getting accumulated on that off of that 320. So it's where the volume is right now in small cap land. BBLG, CIGL fell off the maps, going sideways, faded.
Yep, I could see that cracking down.
Who was that? Yeah, Trevor. Good eye on ZNB. 280 held up. That one's pulling back in off of that heavy. DLTH coming back up to the highs too. DLTH trying for the reclaim.
I'm just catching more conversations of that SEC crypto rulemaking. I just think it's funny too, right? It's like the number one thing that crypto was invented for was not to have rule making controlled by centralized governments. The number one thing that's happening. Crypto
You
controlled by
gotta,
the ruling government.
yeah, no, those people are right. Those are like insane people. You just go, oh yeah, the Earth is flat. They're like, oh yeah, we're not going to need banks or whatever. It's like, yeah, you're going to get all the 80-year-old grandmas having crypto wallets and remembering giant passkeys and stuff like this. Like, no, it's all tradfi when you boil down to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the real crypto guys that say that it's different away from money just don't understand the way it works now. Yeah, that might have been true maybe 10 years ago, but at this point, the big boys are in. If money's going to be made, it's going to be because guess what? The big boys make money, and not because the little ones make money anymore, guys. So if it's going to 1 million, it's because they have exposure and they wanted to get to 1 million. It's no longer this like freedom trade that you hear so much about, right? Like that's just BS fed to you.
Guys, took most off on IPDN down here at 820. Just leaving a very small piece to trail
Yeah,
and
my
work.
friend. I actually like this, and I think that it's important sometimes with these smaller names, and like it is right now, to just leave that piece and just kind of walk away. Sometimes, like that's what can really help you because even if you get like that first down move, your first motion is, oh, take that profit, right? And so the best way to get away from that is just be like, at this point in time, I'm okay with if nothing else happens on this trade,
Yeah.
so I'll just let it go. And that's one way to approach it, right? If you don't want to put a stop, you can use maybe like alerts and alert and trade placement, right? You can do those types of moves. In our platform, you can actually set an alert, then right click on that alert, edit it to actually place an order at that level if the alert is triggered. So completely a little bit different than putting out a stop or maybe a stop limit, right? So just putting out a different type of ordering technique that you can be using with Trade the Pool.
Just
I
by
would
the
love
way,
if we-
trade it. Go ahead.
I was saying, I would love if we could create an AI bot that could scan for when offerings came out and would immediately buy you in the play, or sell. You would short it, but I would love that. That we were talking about that yesterday on my stream. Like, oh, that'd be awesome.
There already is.
I was
There
gonna say
already is.
you don't have them, but they definitely exist.
They already
I
exist.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, you get my point. Yes, I would love that. If I just had
Like
that.
Michael and I are like we see it every day, man. The thing is,
I've helped funds
right? It's
build
speed
them,
in
right?
those types of trades, right? You're talking about the fastest algorithms. Those are probably, to tell you the truth, and I think Michael might agree with this, the fastest ones, probably not the most profitable. They're going to have that
Not anymore.
inconsistency,
No.
right? They're going to have that inconsistency there.
Yeah, it's too right. Again, if you haven't read Flash Boys, read Flash Boys. It's a great one. It just talks about how the people were paying hundreds of millions of dollars to get like 3 feet closer to the servers in New Jersey, so they
Exactly.
could right. They were like shortening the cables as much as they could because the speed of light was becoming a factor on
Right.
whether or not they could get the trades, right? So this is just one of those. It's why when a lot of people, when I say I'm a quant or whatever, they think, oh, an HFT trader, right? I take thousands of trades a day, and it's like, no, that's just not a game that there's a huge edge on. So the only way you make money is if you just fund a whole lot of it, right? You've got tons and tons and tons and the best servers, right? PhD mathematicians, that kind of crazy stuff, right? What most quants are doing is they're just using backtests to find that there's an edge if you do XYZ, a small edge, and you just milk it over and over again. Those things, again, it's a speed thing, and it becomes same with, if till the end of time, there'll be little AIs that do well, like the numbers that we saw, the job numbers, right? They have these meetings, these hedge funds, and again, I helped a lot of them build some of these things where they have meetings the day before, and they got a bunch of economists in there, and they say, hey, if it comes in at this price, we want to buy. If it comes in at this, we want to sell. And then all they do is they hook up a feed and say, if the number comes in at this, buy it. If the number comes this, sell it, and away they go. And that's a game, and it works great for them, but you need a whole bunch of money, right? You need to have that close to the exchange. Us retail quants, again, we're saying, hey, if a stock's down 10 days in a row, it usually bounces on the 11th day. That kind of stuff, and just find tons of small edges like that and spread them out over time.
Yeah.
There goes Microsoft.
A good move from the market up. We're moving.
It's the big boys. They're going to carry it here now. I'd watch for Google to start getting the bid. I'd watch for Apple to start getting the bid. I'd start looking to see the big boys like Tesla start to push. Look for NVIDIA to start to push. Look for AMD to start to push. Talked about this 5 minutes ago. Watch them now. Watch the leaders start to come back into play. After what? The first hour of the market day. Why? Because the day traders are gone. So now it's time to give them the ability to start to lift it right back. So, hey, we'll see what happens with these trades. But yeah, Microsoft is one that I really watch. I think that one has room to run here. It's been sideways for a while now. Could make a move here towards maybe even like 513 today. That could be 6 points higher. We'll see what happens in Microsoft. And in the long run, Microsoft didn't have a bad report. It just came down with the market pullback. But let's start seeing if Microsoft can start to push here. And then you can start to look for Tesla and other names to really kind of catch fire also. I'd look to see if Palantir just keeps ripping too, because that's like I mentioned earlier. There's a reason why Palantir is ripping. It's just going to give momentum and maybe a gaslight on, green light for some risk on type of trades just for today's maybe afternoon time going into the close. I'd be looking for a quick unwind of that trade at the end of the day, but just to put it out there and what I'm seeing. Another telling sign is the VIX is starting to melt. So it couldn't get above even the pre-market high. And remember, we were going down like for a good amount this morning. For it not to be up here in the 37s or close to 37 tells me that, yeah, we're going for more of a melt, maybe a melt up move here real quick, and then some slowdown into the late afternoon. We'll see what happens out there, guys. Definitely some smaller names still hanging in there also. So what is this? Duluth's holding, man. Get your underwear fast before it hits $4 because it is moving out there. That underwear, I don't know if you guys have rocked the Duluth's, but yeah, it's rocking and rolling there. We'll see what happens on some other names. SMTK, Smart Chem. Semiconductor equipment stock. This actually doesn't look bad, guys. We'll see what happens if it gets to spike above 150. Just rolling through some of these smaller ones. This AQST looked really good this morning, but just taking off right out the gates. No pullback on that one. Pola, another one that could get a pop here. Look how it's just hanging out, right? Like this hangout here looks really good. What does it give you? Risk to return, right? That's why I like these setups, right? Because I mean, you're probably not going to short here and be able to risk up there, right? So what makes sense is more the longs off of the kind of the 224. I'd look for liquidity move or some quick little spike, then recovery of 250. We'll see what happens in Pola Power. All right, that's the small cap coverage there. 1041. We'll keep it moving. We can go to the boys and see how they're doing in the small caps. I'm done for the day, but hey, we'll keep pushing on. We're going to keep going, guys, all the way until 12 o'clock today. So smash that like.
Smash it. Hey, this is why you have stop losses. Soggy pancakes, soggy waffles flying, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
I got to just want to let you guys know. So I bought a little bit of snow here. I got to take off just a little bit early today for a little podcast that I'm doing, but that's the only discretionary trade I took today. I bet you the reason that the snow got hit is the same reason that PayPal and all that did. So now that that's bouncing, maybe take a look at these other names as well. Other than that, just the other trades that I talked about earlier, this AEI in this from 190 hasn't moved. CDP, whatever this guy is, short this from 30.25, that really hasn't moved. So it's been a slow day for me, but still lots of day left, right?
That is indeed, guys. We'll see what happens out there. It looks like Google is going to have to thank OpenAI, as some people are talking about on the street there, that OpenAI is the reason why Google was able to accomplish what they wanted to, which is not get Chrome taken away from them. So that's interesting. Interesting, indeed, guys. So, more conversation on that. Let's keep it rolling here. Let's go to the boys. How the small caps doing? I see the big boys. They keep rocking and rolling. How the small boys?
Yeah, BBLG is having trouble at 4, so it's pulling off a 4 a little bit, and looking perhaps to get a re-entry on this as a short as the mob is moving over to DLTH. It looks like DLTH retesting 4, guys. Be mindful of that. DLTH kind of was holding VWAP a little bit, curling back up for this third knock. I got 420 as resistance above that on the past chart history, about 520. So we'll see if it's going to break and hold with sustainable volume here.
Yeah, man. And I told you, get your underwear before it hits 4. It already hit 4. Then you didn't get your underwear, guys.
Yeah, we're seeing this 5 past chart history, guys, 5-ish.
Yeah, this one
I
could
mean, it's hitting
also
some right now. Yeah.
This one could also tell you to do what? Compare apparel stores, right? So they're not side by side, but AEO going higher helps apparel stores' outlook. So what I'd like to see is that AEO doesn't just crush down. That could be a telling sign that maybe Duluth also turns around, but just to kind of state that, right? I always look at relationships in the market. AEO starting to pull back, A&F starting to pull back. So watch out for that Duluth.
Duluth.
It probably also has a high short interest, right? Like, I'm sure this thing has a high short interest.
We could check FinViz for that too.
Yeah, I would check it,
it's
man.
worth-
It's a good thing to look at there on that one.
Certainly, yes.
5-6%, somewhere in between the 5 and 6% area.
And the float
Not too
on the
bad.
name, right? Do you guys check float often? I don't know if you guys are big on float, but
I always go to. I love this website. It's called knowthefloat.com, and it'll actually give you Yahoo Finance. It'll give you Yahoo Finance. It'll give you FinViz, Wall Street Journal, and it gives you the float and the short percentage of float with outstanding shares listed as well. So that way you kind of get those three right at the gate.
Gotta have tools, right? Tools in the tool belt, whether it be free, paid, whatever it works for you or your style of trading. I think it's always important to know those tools. So there you guys have another
Nearly
one.
420 hit, guys.
gosh.
Let's see if 420 is going to hold up. Right
I'm
at
seeing
420.
a outstanding shares float right in the lovely 17 million, 17.2.
Yeah.
Perfect amount to get this thing to really rock and roll, right? So the short float, though, isn't really much. I only see like 1.6%. So really not much short interest here on this name. But the short float tells us that, let's take a look at the volume. It's traded today. Already 15 million. You've almost rotated the float completely.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, that flow rotation is a key indicator too.
Yeah, it's something definitely to think about, guys. So.
Yeah, I'm waiting on it. I want to see $5 potentially. Honestly, today feels like a day as far as how I short to throw a starter position out because a lot of these moves aren't quite holding up. So at least you can make some money throwing a starter out at certain resistance levels. That's how it's been feeling so far. I mean, I'm still kicking back with hangovers. If you don't know hangover trading, BTBD was a great one too. I mean, I just didn't take this one, but it was shiny yesterday. Today faded. So BTBD, IPDN, STI, those were the ones I was rocking on the hangover list. I got a video on my channel that goes over hangovers for those that don't know. But yeah, BBLG, that one's sitting on VWAP, heavy,
Lord.
and DLTH still hanging over 4 right now.
Sorry, guys.
funny-
I didn't
be
nail
great
the
if you're-
top trade, guys. The top trade today should have been shorting DraftKings.
Oh man.
Oh boy. What'd she do?
You short DraftKings on NFL opener, guys, because people think that this is going to drive the stock, but instead it was a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Look at her go, look at her go, right? Straight hourly candles down today out the gates. So this tells me more and more this trade is turning back
DLTH
around.
going up, guys. DLTH up. AEO has been fading off of its triple top too.
BBLG at 329. What's up with the Bone Biologics Corp? I don't know. This is holding on a little well here, guys. This one might take another step up here. The way that it's holding above 3, right, tells me watch out, right? So It's holding above the pre-market range, essentially.
And that's where I took my dip off of earlier for my bounce play after that big reversal down. I love the really strong, dramatic pullbacks into support. Then you get good reversals back off of them. And yeah, you're right. You're kind of all over that area where it could still go. And speaking of going, Duluth, they're buying their undies today, baby.
They want those undies, baby. Let's go. Let's go. 430s now on Duluth Holdings. And who knows? Get the big bear out there in their commercials to turn into a bull today because Duluth is ripping, guys.
Duluth
The
is
underwear
on.
is ripping.
Yep. That probably has room at this point to that 450 mark, and over 450. Watch for spike to about 475. It's not a major crazy 50-cent dollar ripper at a time. It doesn't seem like it's going to do that. It has it in the past, but watch for 25-cent intervals, in my opinion, on the way up.
Smoke, I haven't seen you in the chat, man. I've had a tough day today, but it's good to see you out there. Smoke Tuna's a really interesting player in the small cap space, guys. So I think you guys would appreciate him. He even has his own kind of little AI kind of filtering to kind of filter out stocks that are higher quality of these, kind of that thing. I think you guys would be interested in things like that, and I think it's important, right? As you get deeper and deeper, the key for these small caps is distinguishing what's a high quality play and what's not, right? I think that's the important part, because if you can stay towards more of the B plus charts, the A plus charts, you'll do a lot better. It's when you start to trade like kind of the D's and the C's and you're just trading every penny stock that goes, that's the recipe, I think, that's disaster.
Yeah,
right? You guys have
exactly.
seen it. Like, it's not about trading every
In
single
my
one
personal
that moves.
trading. It's
Right.
you gotta zone in on
Look at the
on your
daily
setup.
charts, look at the
Yes.
hourlies, understand what's going on. Is it moving with a catalyst? No catalyst, right? Has it recently have a catalyst? Maybe like a split. We talked about one earlier, how they love to do that. They'll do the split and then they're like, okay, well, we're going to do the split on the 4th. And on the 5th, we're going to release a really good news. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works a lot of
Yeah,
the
they're
time.
very strategic.
Oh, they
And
know what they're
honestly,
doing. They got ammo in their back pockets, and that's how a good PR company works, really. And that's why these companies will reach out to promotion companies and be like, "Hey, how can we get our stock moving?" They'll figure it out, guys. I just
They
asked
will.
Mullen.
I've seen some of them not be smart too.
Ex Mullen, the Mullinator.
You know, like coming out with your best PR on a Friday. I've seen that, and yeah, it's just the worst day to do it. You know, so some of them aren't so smart.
Hey, all right, guys, let us know what's going on there in the trading spaces for you guys. It's 10:51. I might just hop a little bit early here and let you boys take the
You're
reins.
good, man. Yes, sir.
Because definitely I ain't trading no more, guys. I got ripped on FXI today. I got ripped on, I don't even remember the ticker. That's how bad it ripped me.
She left. She did what I told you to do. She left you she went to the bathroom and left you at the coffee. She was like, oh, "You paying for dinner? You sitting there all heartbroken now."
Yes, sir.
She's the one that you tell her, you're like, oh, so we're gonna get a good tequila, right, or a good whiskey, and then she orders it, but then goes to the bathroom. You're like, well, what happened here? So the drink gets to the table, and you're just like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna take a little sip of this, and then you take the sip, and then you realize, oh man, the waiter comes back. She's gone, man. I just saw her running down the street. What are you going to do with this bottle now? We just opened it, so we're going to have to give it to you now. So, well, how much is that bottle? A couple $1,000.
Yeah.
What the hell? Well, there it is, guys. Got to take into the woodshed today. We'll see what happens, guys. IPDN, though, still kind of lagging out there, guys. We'll see what happens. Maybe that can really kind of crush down. Soggy P, what's up with the Soggy P before I leave? Because I got to take a look at the SOG. Got above 30s, right? We're
soggy.
above the 30. I think today is the day at some point where it creates the topping candles. So I would maybe look for tomorrow would be that flush down day. A lot of times we get these kind of 3 green candles, right? Why? It's the advancing soldiers setup on the daily, which means a huge breakout on the daily. Some people will look for continuation off of this, but a lot of times what happens with the advancing shoulders trade is it advances so far it needs to retrace some of the move. So I'd be looking for this to continue. Even if it closes near the high, that's actually a good sign. And then for tomorrow, real quick depreciation in the pre-market. We'll see what happens there.
She'll
in
offering out in
SOG
pre-market.
P. Yeah, something like that, right? Like quick flip around. But this thing's been an absolute monster. Shout out to you guys. You guys have been all over this. So, hey, guys, stay with it. Stay with Josh, Kevin. They're going to be here trading to you guys till 12. Let us know how you guys are liking the small cap space, right? Let's get it up there. And like Smoke Tuna says, I might just need to get on the platform, man. Come on. All right, guys, you guys get after it. Looks like Trader Life is taking profits in Tesla. So I haven't been able to do this for you, so I'll do it for you today. Shout out to you, Trader Life. Get a little booster right there before we get out of here. All right, my friends, you guys will take over here. And if for some reason you guys see an extra like a person here, like a box, and when I disappear, just hit remove from the scene, Kevin, on the empty box at the bottom.
Yeah, it was last time. It wasn't removing it.
It's weird. It's weird. I will say that it's weird, so don't worry. It happens to me even when I start the show sometimes. It's just a redoable studio. Yeah. And then to end the broadcast, just at the top, hit the end of the broadcast. And if you want to hit the outro, you can hit the outro. If you just want a hard end, because at the end of the day, if you just want to end off with Kevin and Josh, I don't think anybody will be mad. Appreciate you boys and everything you do. We'll see you some other names.
Always a pleasure.
Coming down. Take care, boys.
Take care.
See you.
See you, Bob. Have a good day.
All right, AK, I'm headed over to you. What are you looking at?
Right now, I'd be really, I really want to trade DLTH. It's really bullish here. We finally have our mob winner, so to speak, of the day. So that's the one I'm really looking at is DLTH. I really like this 395, 380 area into the VWAP, somewhere here for a dip buy opportunity. So we'll see what this action gets here on the way down. And this is what we've been getting a lot of, these quick lightning candles. You can tell filling a lot of orders real quickly. Let's see how we work our way back down into that VWAP. But that would be your overall kind of bounce area too. You can see probably starting from right here-ish is where I would start my uptrend channel, go in there and put our trend line in here on Thinkorswim. And that also correlates to where that trend line is at for me. So that would be your dip buy opportunity. Old resistance, new support right at the trend line at the VWAP. Now, if this doesn't come down far enough and soak to my area, this is, and there it goes. There's your dip. And there's those quick little dip and rips that you'll get sometimes. You even see it back here. It's been doing that. And that's why I was looking for this to maybe soak down into that $4 area, $3.95 to get filled. Didn't get filled, unfortunately. But that's what I'm looking. When I see that happen previously, I know there's a chance for it to happen again. And again, we talked about that, like, Mitch was just saying about almost in a way, which I was kind of worded as find the trends within the trade. And you got to see what's working today and that and what's working within the trade. And so I see that dip buys are working at times here recently, as we talked about earlier, my BBLG, same sort of look. Old resistance, new support right at the VWAP. So I like that again here on DLTH, but unfortunately not getting filled. Didn't quite get down into my area.
Oh, and there she goes. Yeah, you almost have to put like your limit orders just out there, knowing what she does, right? So instead of just having the market order ready, throw the limit order on that 420 mark. Yeah.
Yep. Because it's like you said, kind of knowing the trend within the trade and you see what it's doing. Now, again, like Mitch talks about, and of course myself, and you're going to hear that number 3 a lot. Things run in threes, as he was just talking about with Soggy P having 3 green days. Well, this is to me the second time it's happened, so we can look for possibly one more. But again, that's usually what happens. First one's the most profitable, obviously, as we see where it led to. Second one's usually the most second profitable. The third one, the least profitable, because it's the third one usually, right? And so if we did take and look for a third one possibly potentially coming up, we know the profit taking is going to be smaller than the last two.
Yeah, I want to show you guys something too real quick. Yesterday, by the way, Josh rode AIHS up. I got the short down. And essentially that's what I'm looking at with DLTH. If looking at the past chart history, rather than me buying at 450, I'm looking for the short at up here at 520-ish as the resistance level. So you can work both sides of it. I mean, Josh would have nailed it on that dip buy towards 420 and rode it up towards resistance. I'm just looking for the euphoria towards that resistance, similar to AIHS yesterday for the short. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm going to patiently wait for that 520. That'll be the area I'm looking at for the short there.
It's kind of like you're already at work. We were working in New York City. You're already on the 97th floor, and you're going to take the elevator down. And I'm taking the elevator. I'm just showing up to work, and I click the button, go up to 97th floor, and then we get a little handshake in, a little dab up, and they're like, all right, back down to floor 1 for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, it skips all the other floors. We go with some of these plays, we just elevator down. It's like Tower of Terror style. They just
Yeah.
snap the cables on these things, and we just
Yep.
shoot straight down.
Yep.
But if there's any other tickers you guys want us to take a look at as well, I'm going to be waiting. Honestly, I could just throw the order out at 5, up towards 5. I may just do that right now. Just throw an order out up towards 5:20, and then just leave it sitting there.
Forgot to actually press send on that. Paula's like,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
not
gonna leave
short
it
bias on. I'm like, yeah, no, not for once, Paula. I'm not. I have been. Here's the thing, and I talked about this, Paula. Shorting the tops where we're at in small caps, and I do not. And you remember me? I like trend line cracks. I like shelf cracks. I do not like shorting the top. It's just not my forte. I'm not comfortable with it. I do it here and there, but not a lot. And so I'm taking the approach that you remember me. If you remember back in the old school days, I was a big bounce trader. And so I love some bounce plays right now. So that's, right there. I mean, like, again, that's why I love my bounce plays. You get filled, you're immediately green, and now you're at new high of day, and you're just freaking
Bang,
perfect
bang,
bounce
bang.
play right there.
Yeah,
Perfect bounce play. Perfect bounce play. Again, didn't quite get down to my area. And like you're talking about, Kevin was all over that, putting limit orders in. Once you move up, you're making new high of day in the 440s, 450s. Go ahead and slap some limit orders in there. And then you get filled. Today I'm a little more feeling it out. So I'm market ordering it once it gets to my area and trusting my lines in my area. I just didn't quite get to it right there, but that was what I was looking for. And still bullish. Now, yes, I think there will be a short bias that will come, just like AIHS yesterday. But we have to wait for that top side to finally finish off. Bulls then do move away, and we'll see a sell-off for sure. Just right now, I would not say short this. No way, no how. Again, if you want to short the top, not, maybe if you, again, wherever that short you like, find it on the chart like Kevin's talking about and just wait for it. Like yesterday with AIHS, you're going to sit there for an hour or two, like, well, go ahead and pull up the chart as well, from yesterday with AIHS, and you're sitting there. And where Kevin found this area yesterday, beautiful move up to 820. I was taking dip buys on the way up toward it, right, on these little nice reversals into support. So bounce play right there, bounce play right here. And then why did it fill at 8 yesterday? And you could wait literally an hour or so after the opening bell and just wait. Where was that old floor at? The old floor right there. And look, we ran right into on the dot yesterday. And then look where it went all the way down to into today. That's just the beauty of what you can do in small caps here in stock trading, where you could have taken the ride up with me yesterday and that beautiful ride up, and then you could have waited for that reversal at 8 and then taken that all the way back down. It's like, look at the elevator up. I'm going from floor 1 to 98 or said whatever I said, and seeing Kevin, he's dabbing me up and he's taking it right on back down to floor 1. And then sometimes going to the parking lot and actually the sub levels, the next day. So
yeah, man, it would be a beautiful chart to ride the long and then take the short. That's truly objective, just to take the long and short of it. But I just stick to the edge here. Like DLTH for me, it's a hard buy up here because I see what these elevator down moves do. I get where Josh is coming from with the 420 support, but I would suggest just having the hard stop in place. So if it does crack at any point in time, you're not going to have that slippage. That's just nasty slippage on it, which you could have. Yeah, the slippage on some of these can be bad. You think of IPD and yesterday, that thing shot down like 2 points, in just a few seconds. So that's just something to be mindful of, that slippage.
Soggy P still rolling. New high of day. And this is what I do like to trade would be trend cracks. You find the overall uptrend, which you could have had one right through here. So you could have had 2 trend lines in, depending on where you wanted it in at for. Right there would be the other one on BBLG. So you can see this is what I typically like trading, what Paul is talking about, and you're not short bias. I love when these plays double, triple top, find a true resistance. Traders, obviously, to the long side. Buyers, bulls, move away. I think it was even Smoke talked about it, had an offering out there they can put out. So, of course, me, like even as a bull that wants to go long and sees the bounce opportunity on the way back up to resistance, and I take that. But this is what I typically wait for. I let all this mess happen up top. I don't really usually like it. It's a great opportunity. I just wait for these trends to crack, and then you just take that backside move, a lot like AIHS yesterday, and then it cracks the VWAP, and then what happens? Volume dies out. So then less and less traders are coming over to this, which means what? There's less people buying it. As you can see, how many red candles we've had here in a row. And I love those type of typical moves. It's just slow and steady. You don't have much stress in those trades. You can wait for the trend to crack. Then you crack the VWAP. Now you're to the bearish side of the chart, essentially, and you ride it on down. And then it kind of becomes a hangover type play because traders were here getting drunk as a skunk earlier, and now they're all hungover and no one's coming back over to it. And so you take that bottom side move, essentially. It's like a hangover that happened in the same day.
Drink that hangover away.
Yeah.
I like, smoked tuna. I could tell, great trader just based on the fact he's working this position. It's a challenging trade for me to get involved with right here, although it likely could work against, the open 350. But if you got like that 420 entry, just letting it work, patience pays, or letting a piece of that thing work. So CIGL, great. I love, focusing on those names that are less shiny than the DLTHs. DLTH right now pulling back, by the way, towards that VWAP 420 area. This 420 you'd like to see hold up. What do you think, Josh? Is if you're looking for the next leg on up, 420-ish VWAP?
Right.
Just
Right. You're right back on that trend line again, right back on the support area from earlier. I used to double dip, honestly, back when we had such a bullish 20. And that's, again, back to when the stock market, you did see a lot more multi-day runners and all-day runners back, in my opinion, 2018, 2019, 2020. Really, COVID days and prior, you saw a lot more bullish movement. Now, a lot of people like us on Trade the Pool wherever across the world are shorting a lot more now, it seems like. So you don't get the movement as long and the plays to hold up as long. But I used to love coming back down and double dipping right here. And if I didn't miss the first bounce, I know now where that second one's coming in at. And so if this was 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, Josh Smith, AK-47 trading, I'm dipping right now. I'm going in, I'm getting my chip, and I'm getting back into that dip. But right now is what I'd be looking for, like you're talking about. This has to hold. If this doesn't hold, we start looking a lot like the play that I was just going over in BBLG, or right there in American Eagle. When you start to keel over and really lose that VWAP and that bullishness and start turning to the bear side. We've seen it a lot today, like you were talking about. I think when I first joined the stream, we're just not seeing plays hold up.
Yeah, and that's something that's something that's really embedded in a lot of Long's memory from yesterday. That pain, the pain. The market's generating information. We went over this in the yesterday series, but the market doesn't generate painful information. We may take it as painful information, but it's just information. So we want to trade. Yeah, we don't want to. We want to focus on just trading the information and not trying to find unpainful ways of perceiving it. Like now we're in it. Now what's this ticker all about? What's the fundamentals? What are other levels we could look at?
Your trade I was looking for another one right here. This was another good reversal up top. I wanted this. I didn't think it was. I thought I was going to do this kind of weird pointy head. I say head and shoulders, but I wasn't going to include this back here. But I figured it was going to go back and forth as my point. Failed at 270.
Yeah.
Failed at 3. Failed at 270 right here, right? And then failed at essentially 3. I was like, oh, get to 270, repeat the pattern, go to 270 again, 275. I was so hoping for that to break that VWAP and pop back up to that 275 area for another short
It's
time.
an edge I really like to take. You just psychological level, you got Long stuck in it, at these levels that are looking for a break-even trade. We've been there. You're in a position, you're like, Lord, please just send it back up. I'll take a break-even trade. Yeah.
I'll never do it again. I swear, even though I'll do it 47 more times after this, I swear I won't do it again.
Yeah, sorry, Lord. I've gone back on that prayer many times. Exactly. Yeah, and it never comes back, and then you end up going deer in headlights, paralysis by analysis, and the ticker just fades forever.
Soggy P looking like it's going to squeeze to 35. Naturally, too, just so traders out there, if they're new, I've noticed, at least me, noticing trends and throughout the years, if it's a play like this that has a lot, and not really, and I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, all-time high on Soggy P. I'm pretty sure at all-time high. Yeah, 2020. That's what I thought. January 2024 was its first time to really start running. Anyway, so 33.50, you're going to see resistance there naturally. Then 35, over 35, 37.50, over that 38.75. Then over that, we have 40. And so and then it just keeps repeating itself. And then before that, we have 42.50, 43.50, 45, 47.50, 48.75, then 50. So you can look for those areas to kind of be magnets for these tickers on the way up. So typically, generally speaking, now your next true resistance could be a whole round number of 34 true, but watch for this to spike its way into 35 next here coming on up. And Soggy P, Once it reclaimed that VWAP, I knew it had a really good chance here to push back up at that high of day and test it, which we did. And as we talked about with a lot of these plays, if they can then reclaim that high of day area, you're going to get that chance to run. So we've seen this. I think Money Mitch did have a good one on IDPN on Tuesday. But when you reclaim this resistance area and you do pop over it, you're going to see some continuation, which I love to see. And that's kind of going back over to the BBLG trade here. Once we popped over, and I don't like taking breakouts, but once we break over this high of day and right here in pre-market, like I'm talking about, what do? We continue. Well, now you can look for a bounce play back on top of it. And I was looking for that actually early on Soggy P, as risky biscuits as that kind of a trade is. It just ran up to 31 and never made its way back down to that VWAP in 29. So that's what I like doing. Did on BBLG, was just looking at doing on DLTH, and is still holding up. Is finding former resistance and a kind of a flat plateau that I always call it a flat plat. So we have resistance there into the opening bell today, even here after the bell. Then we squeeze, and so I'm looking to bounce back off of that. Like if I jumped, which I talked about in the lesson yesterday, I'm never going to jump out of a perfectly good plane. But if I had to in parachute, I want to land on I would love to land on a plateau that's like 10,000 feet in the air. I'm like, I don't want to go all the way down to the ground. Like, give me something that's closer, give me a nice flat plateau to land on. I need something that's not all the way down there. I'll jump out of the plane and go like 1,000 feet. I'm like, all right, that's good enough for me. Open that parachute. And so I love that flat plateau, flat plat, go for a bounce play back on top of it, especially when you see that VWAP right up with it and it's even Steven with it. So
Guys,
that's what I'm looking
speaking
for.
about DLTH with like having your limit orders ready on that buy. I mean, look at that lower wick we just put in. Right down there to 4 and then right back up. So to me, it looks like we're kind of accumulating shorts and maybe getting a next squeeze on out for DLTH. So I'm still kicking back on this one before I start a short. I'm looking at that 520 level, but right now I'm just monitoring. Feels a little gambly-ish to take a trade right here, seeing that lower wick and the accumulation there. ZNB, what a fade on ZNB. A couple guys got that one. Great work there. But Soggy P's got my attention. It's got to that one. Soggy P. It's got my attention.
ZNB was another good one. That's what we're seeing a lot. I wish because I do love shorting like you. I love shorting more so than anything. I would love to start seeing this a little bit more often. So we're starting to see the plays. We get the spike, the bulls come in, bulls run away, they fade away, and sell off.
You get the clean fades. Yeah.
Yep. Well, like AIS yesterday for sure.
Yeah, we could even see that with the CIGL too. Smoke Tuna's working at CIGL. 320's holding up there. We could see that one continue to fade. Just a tough entry for me. It's a tough entry for me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones which I've seen these that sit out here out to the right. I'll pull up that sit out here out to the right for freaking ever. Let me go to the big chart with this one that just sit here and it just sits here and just sits here. Whoa, CIGO. Whoa. Way too many L's there, AK. Way too many L's there. All right. Look how long it's been sitting there. I'm going to call this right now that I would say in the next, we'll go before the hour is up. At some point, and maybe even longer than that, to be honest, it'll be a big move. It'll be a random, massive volume candle. And it gets close to either halting up or the big death candle, and it's way back down here. It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to call it now. It's so weird when I see these plays that it create this really tight 375, 325, this really tight channel after all this movement in pre-market. And again, like we talked about, it doesn't have a PR. So that does make that a little bit more of a you feel it's going to crash.
Let me show you guys something exactly what he's talking about. This happened with CWD this past week. I mean, it did just that. It was the pre-market mover, kind of faded, eerily slow and quiet, and then end of day, when that volume came in, it squeezed out shorts. You see these power hour moves like that because just imagine, it's psychological. You got shorts that are very comfortable in their positions, riding this ticker on down, that all have stops in the same place. All their stops are right there in the same place, so you get these unnatural large green candlesticks because all there is buying as they're covering their positions and longs are stepping into the name. So we certainly could see that with what you're saying, just volume confirmation, right?
Yep, 100%. Derek Thompson, I'm thinking of Derek Thomas, a former amazing linebacker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of football season starting up and they have a game on Friday, says you're getting your butt kicked on Saga P. Are you going short on SOGP? If you are, don't continue to short it. I would get out of your short. It does look like it wants to squeeze one more leg up to 35, so just pay attention to that. But SOGP, It really reeking like it wants to squeeze right here. So if you are in short, get ready to cut out and just don't short this. Honestly, today's not the day. I think Mitch was talking about that earlier too. The short's coming. I get this. I've been having this. I've had this for years. AK Josh, when's the short? Where do we short this? When's the short? We'll see a play go 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. God, I forgot what the play was a year or two ago, and it just kept going. I'm like, guys, it's coming. It's coming. And it ran all the way up to about 30, like this, 30, 35, $40, somewhere in there from the single digits, a lot like SOGP is doing. And then it gets that multi-day crack back all the way down into the low 20s, back into the
Trying to
teens.
time the top can be painful. It certainly can. And, I have that bad habit too where I try to time these. But that's why I like scaling, the power of scaling. You can slow scale these. But SOGP's a different animal because it's on low volume. For shorting, I like euphoria, right? I mean, you're just straight up. You got market orders flying through. You got chat rooms jumping in. SOGP still kind of feels like, like you're saying, it's a little on light volume. It could get a next leg up still. It's just like shorts are trapped and they just keep covering their positions. How high are we going to go? But timing the top can be difficult. I like the confirmation over anticipation is probably the best thing to do there. Just waiting for confirmation. But then the problem is it comes out with the offering, it just shoots straight down, and then but there'll be an entry. There'll be an entry on SOGP.
Patience. How many times we have to say that word too for sure as well? Patience with the Y, baby.
That's absolutely right. DLTH. Let's see if 420 is going to hold up on that. DLTH. Did it put in the top yet? The thing is, I mean, this is where everybody is all in small cap land, so it certainly could make a next leg up. The good old DLTH.
Yep, and there goes Soggy P, new high of day. Like I said, watch for this to kind of squeeze into that 35 mark. Great one on the downside, seeing this, and I bet it happens on DLTH as well as seeing BBLG back down to that bottom side, back into the 280 area now. And again, the more I'm starting to just kind of sit back and watch and notice this as my day's probably most likely over for trading. I don't like to get, about 2 hours into the opening bell or after the opening bell and trade at this point. But when I do is when I see stuff like this, is I'm seeing these trend reversals, the trend cracks, we're heading down. So shorts are now happening an hour or two after the opening bell, which I love to see. So you sit back, you wait, a lot of the time too, or like for a while I'm going back to long a little more, a lot of it, I would sit all of this out. Just a lot of this, because if you look at it, and especially more of a condensed time frame, if you go like a 5-minute time frame,
extreme discipline, yeah,
right, yeah, and it's just real choppy if you look at it. The bounce was money. I will say the bounce was pretty great, right? If you take the bounce with me from earlier, but other than that, it's kind of rangy up and down. But if you just sit there and wait, and then there comes this clean chart action and that bottom side move, and this is the chart that I'm looking for. And I know kind of back to where Paula was when she's talking about Duluth, and I'm not bearish yet. And it's just because I'm not seeing a lot of this, but the more I see this an hour or so after the opening bell, right? We're an hour after the opening bell, getting the trend crack. Look how smooth this chart is, like butter compared to the previous hour or so before it. That's why I love and wait for this kind of setup. And I'm hoping we're getting back to this, because this is where you can just sit back, trend line to V, and I used to order all the time. Trend line to VWAP crack coming hot. Trend line would crack, the VWAP would crack, and then I'm just going, I can just sit back and sleep at that point. And here goes your 35 for SOGP. Nice little squeeze there to new.
Well, you see with SOGP where it probably did accumulate more shorts when it went green to red this morning, and then just immediately just turned right back around.
You're right here. Yeah,
U-turn. Did a quick U-turn. Said, no, not today. Today. We're making some highs.
Yep. Yeah. You'll see that a lot of the time more so with mid cap to large caps. I mean, of course, today led by SPY. Of course, we saw that big red, but you'll see that a lot of the time where you're faking. You see the big move up, you come down. Oh, we're done, cracking down. Michael's talking about it, and you start going below this pre-market real support area, and then the shorts think they're money. They trap those shorts, and woof, right back on up we go. And here's your 35, and the same kind of look right here. Different chart, happened earlier, has nothing to do with the SPY. But same sort of thing. We're going down. We're flying down now. We're done. It's over with, right? Oh, we're cracking below pre-market support right there from the right before the opening bell. And here we go all the way up to 35 plus right now. And this is where down the line where where you see this and you alert it over and over and over. I've had this where traders like, why didn't you go long, Josh? You saw this to 35. It's just risky. Definitely a riskier trade, but the bigger that account grows down the line, and I've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. I'm like, all right, going in, 500 shares. Let's go. It's about to squeeze a 35.
Going in.
Yeah, exactly.
AK-47 going in. Yeah, I personally, it's not part of my trading arsenal to long something that's going up from $1 to 35. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm going in now, finally.
Yeah, because then it's the top. As soon as I'm like, all right, I'll do it, and then straight down we go. All right, AK-47 and Kevin Avery in. Take it down, boys. That's what the market makers are saying. No. Yeah, I mean there's SOGP pulling back in a little bit there. Yeah, traders. I mean, the longer you guys are around, I know some of my crew, some of Josh's crew and TTP are in here. I'm gonna teach you guys more of these hangover setups. You know, I just been clean working a couple trades on the backside. I've taken some profit and up, you know, decent on the day. Just taking some cleaner trades and just oftentimes the popular trades are not the most profitable ones. Boring. If we want to be professional traders, a lot of the boring trades are where you're going to find profitability. I like to monitor these other trades like SOGP because there's a lot to make here, even on small share size. But timing the entries can be difficult with these. Certainly with the SOGPs from $1 to 30, and you got to imagine there's some shorts that are real trapped here. I mean, I just surfing the web with X. You know, I've seen traders that have confessed to massive, you know, losses, and like, what do? I'm trapped. SOGP from $1. We can't marry and tunnel in on one ticker. We can't do that, and you take the loss and move on. Really. That's what I did with, what was it, BBLG initially at the start of the day. I took a little loss there, looking to trade that against $3 resistance in pre-market. It shot straight up from there. So we don't want to overstay our welcome on any tickers and just not marrying them.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just last Thursday, a week ago, we were looking at Soggy P, and of course, you know, talking about it with the stream guys, and now here we are all the way up to $35, $36, you know, today. So beautiful move there for SOGP. And again, like I said, just kind of bringing in that heat for small caps overall, just seeing that move from July into August, and we're getting that multi-day kind of runner look.
Jason, CR trader, making that money on Soggy P.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good, man.
You're good. I'll be right back. I'm outside.
Big milkshake, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I could do this all day. Love talking trading and finding tickers, flipping through tickers. Some call me Ticker Master 5000. I just love flipping through them. Been doing this for years on years. SOGP. I mean, it's not a bad. You guys are working both sides of it. This is scary right here. I'm nervous for you guys. So Jason got the long of it, wrote it up a point. CR trader working the short off of the highs there. That's not too bad. I mean, you have defined risk. You know, if you do want to short this against the 36 high that we nearly put in, at this point, I could see that. I may join you on that.
I'm telling you right now, SOGP is the baby. It's the one that's got the movement, really. It seems like it's kind of taken Mob even away from Duluth. Duluth is not on fire anymore.
Oh, Jason going for it. Yeah, I got passed in 5 trades. Let's go. Got to take 5 more out. That's 100% accuracy. I'm looking forward to that interview. 100% consistency rate. Good work. All right, SOGP will monitor it against the highs. Is DLTH still in play? Yeah, kind of. DLTH still in play here a little bit. Let's flip around. AEO did finally bounce off of some support, by the way. BBLG, that one just went. I mean, that thing just sold off. BTBD did as well.
I'll tell you what, I have no idea what it's funny, like if you look at how do you say it? EVMux? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Okay. So if you look at the chat on EVMux, where I put so close to CR Trader, it's showing a fish. If you look at the chat, so I'm looking at the EVMux, because I will go over that, because it's actually like, look at that. Do you see there that fish gift that's in there?
That might just be on your end.
It might be, yeah. On the comment side, it's literally a fish. So I have an S here. Let's see if it'll actually pull up on the live stream for you guys. So show my screen. Go ahead and put mine back up,
Yeah.
Kevin. Let's see if it'll actually show up here. Yeah. So see this right there? Do you see that? Right here. That's like a fish. That's a fish doing like this. Is it showing up on the live stream? Do you see it?
Huh.
Yeah, is that not weird? Because all it is so close, and so I don't know if that all those O's equal that GIF of a fish. I have no idea. Yeah, I was like, "What is that?" Because I keep up with I usually watch the that like art to keep up with what you're showing. I'll watch the EV Mux to know exactly because my YouTube it'll get delayed and go behind, so I keep up with the EV Mux. And I was like, "What? What is that?" Good short up top there from CR Trader again. Yeah, watch for that move back on up there. That is, and literally Money Mitch talked. I almost said Michael, but Money Mitch was the one that called it out right before he got off the stream, watching for an identified massive, nasty upper shadow and wick to pretty much call the top there. Could end up being that one right there. Could be in that top. If you especially go to like a 10-minute time frame or larger, that's going to be a nasty flag on top of the hill, so to speak. So that really could end up being the top. Now, if we double top, and like Money Mitchell saying, maybe we go back up to the top and close, but it could be what the other thing that he talked about looking for, and a big topping tail, so to speak. You did take the short up top. Congratulations. Good job there. There was your first, honestly, good short at high of day for Soggy P.
Man, it's I'm salivating as a short seller over here looking at it. Maybe even against the highs there, but
Yeah, it's because it's such a big. You make so much money in such a quick amount of time. There, it does not take much to profit if you are on that right area for Soggy P.
DLTH at 420, still hanging in there a bit, and then outside of that, flipping around. AEOs climbing back up to 18.
Well, you do that mouth thing too well. Maybe I was a fish in my past life. Oh man, very animated though. I've always, of course, grew up watching Jim Carrey.
You called this AK, the BSLK. I mean, we are curling all the way back up around. This thing's at nearly 450 BSLK.
Oh yeah. That's another one I'm watching actually on this side. So yeah, because I've had kind of the hotter runners. I guess I can get rid of BBLG now since it really has died on off. BSLK. There we go, and then boom. And there we go. So watch for this to pop back on up. If you want to take it right here at this area, I see this 480 area. It's really that VWAP in just over 5 is where we'd be looking for that the upper shadow, looking for a short up top. I do like that if you are looking for some movement. It's got this little W shape. I've talked about those. You got to be watching for your W's and your M's when it comes to large or small cap or large caps. But when it comes to your patterns and trading, and I like the W's when the right side of the W is a little bit higher than the left side. Typically, when you see the right side with candlestick confirming, and it's a little bit higher, you can tell than the left side is. This one's not as apparent. Some are a little bit more apparent, which I'll show you one actually in just a moment. You usually are good to get back to there. And then there, once you clean this, you're going to break out for more as you see. And let's just go back to last, I think it was Friday, and good old Soggy P. And notice the W shape right here. We got a couple of them on Soggy P, but look at this one in after hours and this beautiful W shape right here. And again, when that right side of the W, and it's kind of like crooked looking a little bit, I love to see that, and you'll get a squeeze back on up to that high of day area. So I was watching that actually last week, and that's what I'm looking for, finding those W's. And if that right side's a tad higher, you can definitely usually find a good breakout for more continuation to that top side.
Yeah, Soggy P just hanging out here, eerily quiet after that top we just put in.
Yeah, right. And I feel like a lot of traders are doing this right now. Because I feel like they're at the top of the roller coaster, and they're about to. Are we going down? Or are we going to go up for another ride? I don't know, but this is going to be fun. Like we're in it because like you said, I think there's a lot of still for sure shorters trap from who knows where, single digits to the teens to even the 20s, and even who knows, of course, maybe even still in from the high of day. But then you have a lot of traders here that see a very bullish play, as we just talked about here. We just go back to the 1 hour time frame and look at what this has done. And we have gone from $4, essentially $3, all the way up to 36. Traders see bullish, and they see a lot of green. They don't see a lot of red there. They know the red's coming, and that's what's trapping a lot of shorts. And like we were talking about earlier with Money Mitch, of course, we're talking about the short float interest and all those things start playing in, outstanding shares. What's the float size now? What's that rotation? That's what keeps this play squeezing and going for more. It's funny how everyone know lie, man, on from now that last Thursday we were calling it Soggy P. Everyone in my lobby, everyone's calling it Soggy P now. Oh man.
We're bringing attention to it. Hey, that's why Soggy P's making new highs right now.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. It was funny. I think it's funny how a lot of traders do that. They kind of.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one, but everyone's like making, it's whether it's from movies or it's a song that brings the, there's something like, when MK&D spiked up recently, I thought of Mankind, the wrestler. You're always kind of like in your head.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. It's like when I see this, I think of that. If you're looking for a bounce play on Soggy P, to me, like I said, this is going to be your number one play for the rest of the day, at least for moving into what I call right now. This is pre-lunch for the rest of pre-lunch into lunch hours. This is going to be your bounce opportunity somewhere right around that $31 mark, $31 into that VWAP. That's going to be it. Now, the safer area, in my opinion, is coming below, and I know you're like, well, below the VWAP, I don't mind bounce plays below the VWAP. They happen all the darn time. You scale. A lot of traders get scared and don't have that mentality of trust in the chart.
It's because that's where all the orders are, right?
Yeah.
So they normally will put in a lower upper shadow right at resistance. That's why I don't agree with putting stops like right on the line. You gotta give it some wiggle room, right?
And like CR Trader, he was at my the little, I call them AKNRs, but a little essentially trading live events training. Essentially, I call it really school because that's what it is. Yep, he was there. He actually gave a presentation. He's one of my top students, if not the top student I've had. I do one-on-ones, and I've had my essentially been streaming live for a while now, but I do one-on-ones as well. And he's one of my top students, and he's made a lot of money, and he's done really well. But he gave a presentation, and the verbiage he uses is you got to give it room to breathe. And that's the thing. Even though I said this, you got to get used to seeing red. So there's just some of these things that if you don't get used to these things early on, it becomes a very bad, I wouldn't say habit, but it's really hard to get over them as you continue to do them, essentially. So you want to realize these things early on. Give it room to breathe. Have patience. It's just if you develop these things early on, you won't develop bad habits that you're doing 6 months in, a year and a half in the line. You're going, why don't I get this? I've been doing this for 18 months now. And I'm like, well, you develop some really bad habits early on, and now you're just doing those every day. You picked up smoking at the age of 19, and you smoked a couple of cigarettes a day. And now you're 30, and you smoke 2 packs a day. Essentially the kind of thing.
Exactly. It becomes muscle memory with some of these bad habits. Yeah, it's one of the things that's most difficult that I've seen is being comfortable in the uncomfortable, which is really the red. That's why when I'm shorting Euphoria, most of the time, initially in the trade, I'm in the red for that edge. Now, the hangovers, usually I'm in the green with those. Those are like a ride or ride out kind of trade because it should profit take and fade. But as far as shorting Euphoria like DLTH, with that kind of a setup, I'm going to break the entries down. So I'm going to be going like if you go 1,000 shares, I'm going to be going 250, 250, 500, something like that, up and around towards resistance. Because when you have the mob on these tickers, oftentimes you will see them squeeze to abnormal levels, and so you need abnormal amounts of patience and discipline in those setups. Yeah.
Not hyperlinking. Someone asked me too, a big milkshake. I don't know why that's not hyperlinking, but there's my link if you want to join my live stream, which is Monday through Friday. I'm going to be here with these guys a couple times a week, and hopefully that moves to 4, if not more times a week. We start doing this more often and do the extended hours, Monday through Thursday, which would be great. But I have my live stream up every morning in pre-market. I have it going all day long, so I do commentary in pre-market into the opening bell. And I have commentary in the afternoon. I'm there all day long, leading you guys through trades. I do small caps, I do large caps. I love stocks. I love charts. That's like one of my favorite things to do. That's why I love doing this. It's funny. When one of our meetings we had recently, I forgot which one it was, but it may have been the one about Orlando. I can't remember which one it was, but I just woke up and you could tell. But I was like, in there, I think Michael, even Katz was like, yeah, you could tell on your face. So here the CEO is like, yeah, we can tell you just woke up. I'm like, but I love what I do. Like I'm right at it. It's not like I'm tired anymore. Like as soon as I get in here every morning, it's like any person. You wake up and you're like, oh, alarm just went, oh, whatever. But as soon as I get in here, it's like the adrenaline's rolling. I'm in, it's just like, I love charting. I love charting. I love the chart.
Time flies. Yeah. BSLK, I'm monitoring, guys, at this level. A spike up, I would look for a short personally against like 5 would be the stop on that. DLTH, here we go. Here we go again, 420. I mean, are we squeezing out some more shorts here and headed up towards that 520 level?
And I think what's just going back to that too, for you're getting like you have 2 different mobs here, and just know that you do have 2 different mobs a lot of the time. You have your $30, $25 club, your mid cap club of traders. Then you got your true small cap club of traders, right? And so you might have some going back and forth between the two, but primarily you've got people sitting here and trading DLTH, and you got a whole other group of traders. Essentially someone's over at Target and they're shopping at Target, and then someone's over at Walmart and they're shopping at Walmart, right? It's like you got 2 different clientele right there.
Which one's Walmart? Which one's Target?
I don't know. I think I got to go Walmart Sog P because it's just the big daddy. I got to go Walmart Soggy P. It's the big one. DLTH Target. It's newer. It's trying. It's got great things. But we know who the moneymaker is. It's Mr. Walton. Mr. Walton. Hey, of course, I'm in Arkansas, so I got to rep Mr. Sam Walton, my man. Mr. Big Daddy. Big Daddy. What do you think? What would you say? What would you call this one? Because it's more pristine and prettier. Go Soggy P with Target.
Oh, yeah, my opinion might be unpopular. I might as maybe Kmart.
It's all good.
Maybe Soggy P's Kmart. It's Kmart.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, I used to shop at Kmart. I used to be back at Kmart.
Yeah.
I was at Kmart back in the day, for sure. I had a Sears card. That was actually the first credit card I ever had on my own. And then they were they bought Kmart or whatever it was. So I remember you using that at Kmart every once in a while, or at Sears, or whatever. But yeah, I shopped at Kmart. Hey, listen, I have Savers t-shirts, Savers, God, what's that? It's the other place, of course, called where you get like hand-me-down clothes. But yeah, I've got clothes from. I got a t-shirt. You can tell it's from a woman named Aunt Brenda that played softball. It says Cardinals on the front of it and Aunt Brenda on the back of it. And I love wearing that. They're like, "Oh, is that your Aunt Brenda?" It's like, I ain't got an Aunt Brenda. This is some random person shirt I'm wearing right now.
Why is that? You just don't care.
This is back in high school. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I am. If you could, kind of
that is pretty funny.
A goofy, I say Van Wilder, but Ryan Reynolds kind of personality to like Jim Carrey. Definitely a goofy, open-minded, just likes to have fun. I like people smiling. So even if it's just goofy stuff like that are like this guy, what a goober. What's he got this t-shirt for? My buddy Mitchell's actually the one that got me into that. We're going to, what is the place that you donate all the clothes to?
Goodwill.
So we would go to Goodwill in a place in Arkansas. I don't know if it's all across the nation. It's called Savers. It's the same kind of thing. And you could get, sometimes we'd be looking for, when we, of course, we would have high school money, but we'd be looking for, we didn't want to go to Dillard's or whatever and get polos for however, it's full price. So we would go to, that was really before like TJ Maxx and all those stores became popular. So you'd go to, or Kohl's, you would go to Savers and try to find some old, or you'd go to Goodwill and try to find some old, polos or something. And then every once in a while you'd run into a golden Aunt Brenda shirt. And you're like, oh, check out this Aunt Brenda shirt, bro. Yeah.
Never know what you're going to find in there.
Hey, it's like going to Waffle House at about midnight to 2 a.m. You just never know what you're going to get, you're going to get.
That's my favorite. Soggy P, guys. Yeah, good eye there. See our trader. $1.50 bounce right there. Again, like we're spiking up and we're going sideways, Soggy P. Now, as a short seller, I really don't want to see the sideways action. The sideways action is a sign of health. When you get euphoric, straight up moves, what I'm looking for is like the rubber band effect. I want the ticker to just essentially come straight back down. What was the ticker I traded this morning? It was NCI. I mean, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for here. Like the straight up unhealthy move and kind of rubber band effect right back down. Now, Soggy P going sideways here, not great. I mean, not great for the short sellers. I mean, we certainly at some point are going to be profit taken here. But will it be soon? Or are we going to go sideways as long as they're going to keep squeezing this name on up until that offering comes out? We got to keep our eyes peeled here. But as far as taking entries, still going to work the patience and discipline on Soggy P. But let us know in the comments what you guys are thinking. DLTH still hanging in there. Haven't taken an entry quite yet. long or short, we're kind of just chopping around. We broke out from 4, and then we went up to 450, been going kind of up and down from there. The next leg up towards 520 is what I'd be interested in still for that short position. And then outside of that, guys, just hanging tight with a couple leftover positions. What about you, Josh? What are you looking at?
Yeah, just waiting right here. I was honestly,
Waiting,
like I said, this time of the day is the day I usually put the. I was gonna say, put the keys back on the, put back on the hanger, so to speak, and I'm done driving for the day. Waiting for one more possible pop on BSOK. Do like that setup, and that squeeze up for that quick reversal, like you kind of like what you went over for NCI. Other than that, I'm gonna leave Soggy P alone. I'm gonna leave her alone and let her do her thing today and sit back and watch. Duluth is looking like it's because I love using I always talk about the upper and lower VWAP bands. They're really nice to use on Thinkorswim. It's looking like the play's kind of trapped. Upper VWAP bands at 473, lowers at 354, and really consolidating tighter, which lets me know this play is really going to start channeling up. Make it back up to 465, 470, looking for bounce plays back at 390. Yeah. And I think it's just going to channel up for now. And that's what, and we will see, in my opinion, some sort of spike. And it could be BSOK, but watch here in the next 45 minutes to an hour after we're done with this stream, potentially for a small cap play to pop. And do not forget about Sigil, CIGL. That play is going to have some sort of move before the day is over. And it could be just like you were talking about with CWD, and it's a squeeze at the end of the day. Could be finally a huge sell-off as it maybe hits through some numbers on the bottom side, hits some stop losses or something, and then really triggers a good sell-off event.
Yeah, I could see that happen in CIGL. I think the difference CWD and this one is this one had kind of a blow off top, which could create a level of heaviness. We have long stuck in it up there, which so if it does curl around into day into power hour, we just could see it hold up around that 450 level. But certainly, again, volumes what we're all going to be looking for there. CIGL. What was the other ticker you mentioned?
BSOK. BSOK. Yeah.
BSOK. Oh, yeah. BSOK. And that one, that one's still curling back up right now. Now, as a short seller, I look at all the pre-market resistance here and say, hey, this is what I would like to scale to, essentially. So it's where I'm starting the position would be probably close to $5 and then scaling even towards 6, like giving it, because all the longs in this. All the longs in this from pre-market now. Now you can ride both sides of it, right? Like Josh likes to ride the long here. That's what we did yesterday as well. The long to short of it. I wish I could do both. I could do. Yeah,
I think that's like every trader's dream, and I think and that's what I'm like. Myself. I think there will be a time when we get to that point where you've been doing it for such a long period of time and that's not like it's every trade. Let's not be mistaken. Traders out there that are listening, it's not like every day we get an AIHS play that does that, gives you a great long, then gives you the stupid good short. And so just concentrate on that long or the short that you're looking for. But yeah, down the line, that's something I 100% want to get involved into, because I've said that for the longest time of, man, let me take that long up, find that good short area, and then take the short back on down.
It's truly trading purely objective, which is the state of mind you want to create. You don't want to create a state of mind that's affected by essentially what the ticker's doing. If you can learn to create a mind that's unaffected by what the market's doing, the struggle really is going to cease to exist. So what does that mean? It means eliminating expectations. Expectations are a visual representation of what you think is going to happen in the market, and you got to not have expectations. You got to take your edge when it presents itself, play the hand. This pocket pair ace hand works majority of the time, but if it doesn't, it's not going to throw me in tilt, because I know that it's not going to work every time. I'm not trading certainty. I'm trading via repetition. The edge works through repetition, not oversizing on this one trade where this trade is going to work. I've seen it happen before, and then it doesn't, and you get capitulated on that ticker. So never trade certainties. DLTH, pulling back down here to 420. Let's see if it forms a lower shadow there and gets popped right back up and head toward that $5 liquidity zone left of the chart, as we're still monitoring that for a potential setup. Soggy P still hanging in there, going sideways, sign of health. So I'm avoiding the short there right now, but certainly one that's going to be on watch throughout the day.
Making me want some pancakes and waffles with a lot of syrup. I'm not kidding you. I love me a lot of syrup. I'm kind of like
lunch. Yeah.
Why not? Throw some bacon in there, some sausage. Give me some kind of meat, and I'm good to go. Love the movie Elf. And I'm a lot like Buddy the Elf. Not as extreme, but boy, I love me some syrup. You know, I'm not putting it on my cereal like he is, but boy, I love me some syrup.
DLTH testing 420.
Yep, got this uptrend channel. You just put that trend line into as well in your chart. I saw that a second ago, and I'll put that top resistance line to match it. And we're really just kind of running in this little uptrend channel now. A little, as I call it, it's called a ghostly head and shoulders. Why ghostly? I feel like it's kind of like running, it's like, ooh, and it's kind of going sideways. But you got the shoulder, you've got the head, you've got another little shoulder right there. And so watch for that overall crack back down. To me, the base would be back under 385, as we can really tell, and then it's going to kill it back to that lower VWAP band. And again, still in my opinion, choppier play.
I could see it retesting highs, or at least like pulling back, doing another lower shadow, then shooting straight up. We saw that, dude, so often last week, where they look like they're about to crack and then poof, straight back up. Sound effects brought to you by KA47. Throw that in there for free. Yeah, so we see that often where you get those lower shadows, and then, you know, that's what you want to avoid. I'd say stop out quick. You know, I made the mistake of not doing that on a few. So if you are trading the short right now, as we are cracking under 420, if it does form that lower shadow, gets accumulated and buys right back up, I'd say just take it off. You know, this thing may be trapping shorts and retesting highs. But outside of that, right now it's looking heavy. DLTH looking heavy on this VWAP 420. And we'll see if it cracks this level.
Trade the trend. The trend your friend and I think we're all over it right now. CR Trader's talking about it. You're talking about it. Watch for this. This looks like it wants to kind of U-shape its way back into that high of day area for another possible double top test right there on Soggy P. In my opinion, too, when we're multiple tiers above the VWAP, heading into almost now, in my opinion, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 Eastern, it's a bullish play. Old resistance equals new support. So if you are shorting this play, my opinion, don't try to short under support at this time. You're going to be wanting to look at the top. And again, if you don't like the double top, go for the next leg up like CR Trader's telling you and find that next area for the next leg up. So those are your two options there on Soggy P. You're either looking for, in my opinion, bounce plays, not shorting under support, or if you're looking for that, you know, that move back on up for another short and fail. I'm looking for BSLK. It's getting
420 is holding well there. I mean, 420 is holding fairly well there. BSLK, yeah.
So just wait in patience. Wait for that next setup here. To me, I'm going to, like I said, leave Soggy P alone. It's just too overextended from where it was last week. I'm going to look at it. It's popcorn for me. It's popcorn material. Yeah. Tradable material here, something that I can sit back and rely on. I'll look and sit
I'm going to look, but I'm not going to touch.
Yeah.
As far as Soggy P.
Right. That's what you told her.
I'm going to look. I ain't going to touch. As far as Soggy P goes, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you right there. We could see the mob shift to BSLK, you know, from head over there from DLTH. DLTH is still under 420. That's really the, you know, I wouldn't mind the short here against 420, but it's going to be choppy. It's probably going to chop back up to 420, but DLTH cracking. I'll show you guys the line I got drawn there right now. Good old DLTH, cracking that 420 line. Yep, heading down towards 4. Looking weak at this moment, but remember the breakout was this 4, so we could see this hold as support. Now it is approaching 12 o'clock, and support around lunchtime. What do you think, Josh? I mean, it doesn't hold up like it does at 9, 10.
Yep.
Now, I learned that the hard way through a lot of losses. So you guys take note of that. I used to when I first started trading, I would be like, okay, we're back down to support. Let me buy. I didn't take into consideration. Okay, we got all these longs now trapped in this from the last 2 hours. You know, this psychology. You got to consider the psychology of what's going on here. So let's see if 4 is going to hold or if it's going to be heavy. 420 is not a bad risk guide on DLTH. Now, BSLK, Josh is looking at as well. It's kind of going slow sideways again, sign of health, the stair-steppy nature of it, which in relation to what? Soggy P, which is stair-stepping up. Again, the sign of health, the stair-step, sideways consolidation. We went over that, James, if you're still in here, on Soggy P yesterday. I was in a short there and actually made money on it because I took it off when it started doing that. I took the short and then took it off when we started going sideways like that.
Yep. Soggy P, baby. I'm just sitting here looking like it's about to ramp up here. It's got some big orders starting to come back in on this. I just saw 1,000 shares. You know, when someone's buying 1,000 shares here of Soggy P, you're going to see a spike. There it is, a little bit of
shares on this.
yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
love watching the time and sales. That's why I'm like, there. Look at that. Someone just bought 2,200 shares there. That's a big order there coming
I'd
through.
probably
for
go
Soggy.
into cardiac arrest if I bought 2,200 shares of this thing at 35.
Just do it once. Come on, man. You know you want to. Just do it. Just do it. You know, almost becomes like peer pressure. You know, you're just like, oh no, yeah. But yeah, no, there goes that squeeze. Yeah, there. Like I said,
I gotta
that's why
have
I love. Go ahead.
consistent. I gotta have consistent risk across the board. Some hands, yes, I'll apply more risk. But guys, ever going all in on a ticker, I see so many traders doing that. Just keep it consistent. You're right. Keep your sizing consistent. Consistent sizing equals consistent results. As in, random trading equals random results. We want to dial in all of that. I mean, again, there are certain hands where the pocket pair ace, like my hangovers, I'll apply a little bit more risk. As the right or right out trades. But yeah, sizing's a tricky one. Sizing is a tricky one. We went over yesterday in yesterday's episode scaling. Scaling is the power of scaling, very useful, but it is more for the advanced traders. You know, it's the scaling, because I can see newer traders get involved with scaling and then blowing up doing that. Scaling is much different than add. It's a big difference there. It's pretty much you plan to scale on this with a predefined risk in mind. The newer trader may think, oh, add, I'm just getting a better average on this thing. You know, add into oblivion. So big difference between that. I'm sure some really good traders in here could shine some light on that as well as far as scaling.
Oh, I am sure. And just back to what you're talking about, actually, I had someone in my lobby today. They were killing in August, going like 2,000 to 3,000 shares, and now this month they're like, okay, I'm gonna go bigger, and they're going 5,000 shares this week, and they're kind of getting wrecked. And I'm like, yeah, trust me, yeah, that little instant change from going, especially that big a share size. Yeah, you need to consistently do it for months on end. It's the same share size for months on end. So whatever it is that you find that you can do consistent, confident, comfortably without having that cardiac arrest, you do that day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, for months in. So you're not even thinking about it. And then you
Sizing's
slowly
the emotional dial on your trading account. You size bigger, the bias grows with it. So you just got to be mindful of that. Good alert on Pola, guys. I saw that thing earlier curl around. I was like, is she really going to reclaim the highs here? This is pretty much doing what Josh was saying that CIGL could do. You know, this is getting kind of like that power hour-ish momentum and volume behind it. You see Pola, Josh? This thing curling. Yeah. Good alert, guys.
Yep. That's why I love, like the power of having a team. You know, like it's not always what you're looking at. It's because you're going to have, you're not going to be able to see everything like we talked about, but having people in chat and seeing what they're looking at and being able to,
I know
to move,
it's great.
really nice.
It's impossible to have your eyes everywhere. I wish I had a lazy eye so I could see like two different tickers at one time. Pola at 4 is good. A good ceiling of resistance from what I'm seeing on the chart. $4 on POLA. So be mindful of that, guys. We could retest. I mean, the thing is, when you do curl around like this midday after going silent, you're going to have shorts in it. And so, yeah, here we are. We're breaking up through the highs right now. We're going to have shorts here, which could sustain this move longer than anticipated.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Chef Wood, to be careful in that area. And here's the GIF I put in chat today. Here's the how many eyes you need days like today. You need that right there. You need that right there to keep your eye on everything today.
All right, guys, here's POLA curling around to that 20s to the high. Are we going to slam down from here or head up to the 420s? Now, this move, like I said, could be sustained more now that we have shorts, again, that have positions here to fade it. Now they're getting squeezed out with increased volume. You see the volume on the chart had more volume than this morning, again, from those shorts. Good alert on Pola. I'm going to wait for that 420, the magic 420 that we go over. So
Magica. It's Magica. Yeah, that 20 area is nice, especially, right over a whole round number. It's just one of those areas that gets hit a lot, And like you said, you just see it just fail at that area quite a bit. It's kind of the same thing with 5 or whatever the area is. You just get right over it. Traders think, oh, here we go. We're about to go for more, and then they just get busted.
320, I'm seeing as resistance, and then, of course, up towards 420. Where are we at right now? Yeah, we're hitting that 320. See if we can get that break over the highs, POLA. I'm seeing a ton of resistance up and around 4. And what I'm also seeing left of the chart is a lot of upper shadows. Now, what's that going to indicate? Signs of weakness, POLA. Signs of weakness on the daily. When you see upper wicks, it means sellers step in, and this ticker typically will give much of its day back. That's why I have a hard time trading IPOs, because I need this data. I love having the data to look back and see what is the personality of this specific ticker. Does it hold up its gains normally with this level of volume, or does it hold up?
Right. No, you're all over it too. I like. I mean, like we're talking about so many times, you got to go. Go to the left. Go to the left on the chart. Go to the left on the chart. Find the area to short, right? And you can see like what you're talking about right here. So you can see starting out, coming up soon. I'm going to see some 360s. I bet to 375. We're going to see some selling on the tape there. And then you can see this really nice, good upper shadow once we start getting into that $4 area on POLA. So POLA, another one of these plays, like we've talked about, shorting at the top has been king, going to be the trade to be had here, but it's about patience and waiting for that move into that 365.70 area for the short there, or into the 4s, like Kevin was talking about.
I'm looking at news. I do 3 types of analysis: fundamental, technical, and trader. A fundamental, it looks like they did come out with something this morning. They announced a partnership with ZQuip to develop and supply DC hybrid power systems for the construction equipment industry. So they're partnering with another company, ZQuip, for that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Cool. I call fundamentals fundamentals. I don't pay too much attention to them outside of like earnings or acquisitions, mergers.
Right.
Offerings, of course. Certain news that I'll focus on, but outside of that, like earnings, I don't short tons of earnings plays, just because, as Mr. Buffett would say, tickers do move towards their intrinsic value over time, and earnings tends to hold up. From my experience, they just hold up a little bit better than some of the other plays I like to short into.
And
DLTH is done, Paula. All right, go for it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. DLTH done. Oh my, it could be. Yeah, like I said, I think it's gonna chop around. DLTH.
You're right with the mob shift. Yeah, you're right. I may look for the short there against like 420.
Yeah. That's the play here now, for sure. Now that's why you wait, patience here, wait for something to move. I was hoping it was going to be BSOK. It's not getting that. So now you have one that you're looking for here, and it's POLA. And it's luckily driven by a PR. So traders will start realizing that, like you were just saying, it's okay, well, whatever. That's just going to keep traders' interest for a little bit more of a pop up. So that's what I'd be looking for, is this moving a little bit higher here for a good short opportunity coming up.
Yeah, DLTH, I'm gonna start it and hit it again at 420. I agree. I think the mob is shifting again, but we gotta monitor POLA. If POLA dumps real quick, the mob likely could just shoot back over to DLTH.
Right.
So
yeah, that's why I like to see if this play can hold up here. POLA for give and take to put to the top of the hour. If it's still holding this bull flag 320, you're essentially holding that upper shadow. Right here, if we go back over to POLA, I'm looking at my right chart. I'm out on 2 different charts. Right here, you're holding this upper shadow right there. So if we hold that into the top of the hour, this will take the mob. Then we're looking for that squeeze and pop and potential for the short up top. If it cracks back below that, back down to the view op, and especially below, mob can move right back over here, to DLTH.
our
and
good friend DLTH.
Great underwear. Great underwear. Never worn them before, but great underwear, I heard.
How do you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone that even wears them. I just remember them because they always watch sports, and it always seems to be during literally the fall season when we get into winter, and I'm watching football games. At every commercial break, I see a Duluth Trading Company, and they're talking about keeping your butt warm during the winter months. And I'm in Arkansas. I don't really need to keep warm. We're usually pretty warm, regardless. I'm wearing shorts usually all the way, year round here.
I could use some warm underwear. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that's I get underwear like once every few years at Christmas time. I don't pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Hey, it's not. It's
I'm
not something
still
that
wearing my underwear from when I was 3-4 years old.
Still rocking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. SOGP up through highs, traders 35.20s. We were all over that, guys. Sideways action. Sign of hell, stair stepping right back up. DLTH, we're going to see if that one. I like the alert there from Paula. I agree. As long as POLA maintains this hype, which it is, I'm short DLTH. We got a few minutes left before we wrap up, traders. Let us know if there are any questions or tickers you want us to look at before we wrap up. But POLA is where the attention is right now, so that's where all eyes are.
Yep. And if you want to those quick candles back on down with those lower shadows, which this had one earlier at 3, just about 3 candles, a few candles ago there at 48 after. Look for that. So you can see there's nasty lower shadow right there. I like that look. So watch for one more of those. But this does have that, I call it the slingshot effect look. Those little dip and rips where you come down into that area and rip right back on up. So be paying attention to that, which we saw that earlier, and I was trying to get a trade on DLTH. It just didn't quite get down into my area when we did see that quick pullback on this lower shadow. So keep your eye on those quick wicks right on down to support. Otherwise, if this does slingshot quick right back on up, like I was saying in chat, watch for this to squeeze up a little bit higher. I do love this 3-minute deviation trend channel. This isn't lines that I put in. This is just a deviation channel you can use, right? Just a study. And it does help you out quite a bit. I love when I see plays that are actually, that's why I have it in this, and they start spiking up. Now I know where that tops out. So if we get over that, we're going to get overextended. We're going to get an overextended move. That means what? We're going to get a good short up top. So keep your eye on Pola. And of course, for fun, SOGP, if you want to, keep your eye on. This is, again, to me, it might as well in the last, about a minute and a half here. Last thoughts for myself for the day. SOGP is going to keep going. If you are shorting the top, like CR Trader did, and maybe if you guys did in the chat, take the quick move for 2-3 minutes, 2-3 good candles, get out, 2-3 points, get out. Same thing for bounce plays. This is a quick volatile mover. This is getting to an area that couldn't see the high of day, and the next thing you know, maybe an offer, whatever it is, and it's a big sell-off that could happen in a big sell-off event. So don't be one of those things that you want to take your trades for a long period of time and long rides on SOGP. It's a multi-day 1-week runner that's been running all the way from 3 to 30. That's a $30 move. Your play, to me, in my opinion, moving forward as of right now, is going to be POLA. But I'm going to say that POLA does not hold up through end of day. And we will, if you're around like myself all day long looking at charts, right, Kevin? There's going to be a different ticker that we're going to be looking at in Power Hour. Bottom line, and as I used to call it, and I still do, an AK stamp of approval.
There you go.
You got final thoughts. What you got?
Yeah, DLTH is on elevator watch, as Mr. Fades from my chat would say. It's sitting kind of eerily quiet here, and we got a lot of longs above. So I'm going to go ahead and take the short, risking the 420s. I'm in a couple hangovers. It's a little bit of a green day here. I'll take it, waiting patiently and disciplined on the approach today. So I'll take it. I'm happy with it for this Thursday. Traders, anything else before we wrap it up? I think it's been a clean day. Missed a couple, but that's usual. The CIGLs and the HWH. There's always something to be upset about with trading, right? Like there's always a play you're missing or you're stopping out at the top. So I try to be content, with.
Hey, and that's where you go, you know what? I got NFL coming on tonight, tomorrow night, college football Saturday, NFL on. That's just me. I'm going to cook some good food this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Cook that Oklahoma, Joe. Let's go.
Yeah, baby boy. Yes. Well, and I forgot. What state are you? It's in Virginia?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. I knew it was somewhere on the East Coast. Yeah, I knew it was somewhere right over there. Where at in Carolina do you live?
Central. I mean, it's right between Greensboro and Raleigh.
My point being, are you a Duke or a Carolina man? Or neither?
Well, my wife works at Duke, so I got.
You're like, so there's that.
Out. That's my out. Yeah.
There you go.
That's such a fun rivalry, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. Yeah, that's one of the biggest there is for sure in all of sports. Rather, you go call anywhere around. You go across the globe because you look at their overall, like how many times they've played. They're like even. They're like even, and they scored almost the exact same amount of points. Like there was this graph a couple years ago. They showed and how many points they've scored. They were like they have scored almost the exact same amount of points, and they have the exact same win-loss record. It was like, what in the world? That is so crazy to see that. So yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorite rivalries for sure.
Elevator watch, guys. DLTH. What did I say? Elevator watch. 370s. Keep it going.
Went from the 9th floor to the 7th
Got
floor.
That crystal ball. Got that old trade the pool crystal ball. If anybody,
and there's your slingshot that I was talking about. Down for Pola to that 3. Didn't quite get down to 3, but there's that kind of slingshot look. So I'm still watching Pola for that move up to new highs. I would short that if that moved to new high of day up to that $4 mark you're talking about.
Paula, yeah, 350 profit target. Yeah, I'm kicking back here. I mean, I like it. I think most traders are on the Pola. I see the bid and ask flipping around there. And yeah, this has been a good day. I mean, I enjoy this. Let us know if you're enjoying this as well. Josh and I have a lot of fun going over these small caps till extended hours through lunchtime, and we've been nailing a lot of plays. We're not missing anything here. That's what's important. We're all over the plays with the most volume, on the day, not missing anything. So I think it's going really well. Good work, DLTH. We're continuing that elevator on down. Guys, the edge is not found in secret indicators. The edge is found in uncommon patience and uncommon discipline. So on your winners, let them run. Let them run wild. That's what I'm going to do here with DLTH. Final words, Mr. AK-47, before we wrap her on up.
Nope. Have a good weekend, my man. We're all over. It's like you said, having help from the team and you guys out there that are listening. Can't thank you guys enough. Have a great, safe, blessed, food-filled weekend. See you back here next Tuesday on Taco Tuesday, 2 for Tuesday. Me and Kevin will be back again. You can look for us every Tuesday and Thursday here. Find me at primetradinginvestments.com. I go by Josh Smith Trades on Instagram. I put most of my stuff. Of course, you can just click on my I've been alerting a lot. So just that my link here is Josh Smith or Prime Trading AK-47 on YouTube. But yeah, you guys have a good day. If you need any information, reach out to us. We're always here to help you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Absolutely, guys. Stay safe, stay disciplined, trade your edge, embrace the risk, accept the results. Guys, have a good weekend. We will see you next week.